Good afternoon, family, friends, enemies alike, everybody. What's happening? It's Ironwork 92,000 here for True Work Tuesday, but on a Wednesday. Boy, oh boy. First off, before I even continue with my stupid rant, how do I sound? How do I look? I know I'm a little bit extra dark right now. That's the contrast. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. It is what it is. But how do I sound? How do I sound? Hopefully, you guys are picking me up loud and clear, and there isn't any interference or anything like that before we kick this thing off like it's a real time end of a Wednesday. So, hopefully, I sound good. If I sound good, let me know. Let me know. Hey, all right. Ida in the house. What's happening? Hey, God bless America. We're here. We're here. We're here. All right. So let's kick this thing off. I sound good. I look normal. I'd say I look good, but that's just me. And yeah, man, let's do it. So, man, it's been a weird week. It's been a weird week. It's been a weird weekend. It's been a weird last few days. Just trying to get my bearings. My goodness. These last few days, it's just been wild. Yesterday was supposed to have been actual True Work Tuesday, much like last week that was supposed to have been True Work Tuesday. My mind, and my times were just way off. So I'm thinking it was a Tuesday just because of how the weekend felt. And I rolled into Tuesday, or I rolled into Monday thinking it was Tuesday, and rolled into Tuesday thinking it was Monday. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I rolled into Sunday of last week thinking it was Monday, rolled into Monday thinking it was Tuesday. There it is. That's what it is, right? And man, I tell you, it shifted me to the right. I had my own version of daylight savings time. You know what I'm saying? Springing forward. I was all jacked up. Anyway, I think I have it now. I think I have a good handle on it. But I'm all right. I'm all right. And at least we have an opportunity to link up. The sun is still out, and it's going to be out for another couple of hours before it goes down and everything else like that. And we get to kick it with one another, and then you guys could serve dinner. You eat dinner with your family and everything else, and play me in the background. And I'll do my best, especially if your family's around, and it's time for the family to gather. I promise, I will do my best to keep my language in check. Okay. I understand there are kids up running around. You guys are probably, getting the kids from daycare and stuff like that. I am going to keep the language in check. I don't want you to feel embarrassed around the kids because of some potty mouth DJ or something like that. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to check my attitude too. So, uh, good thing the sun is out. Other than that, Vlad is going to be a vampire during the evening hours. Get it, Vlad? Vampire? Anyway, there's a joke somewhere in there. But all jokes aside, welcome, Truer Tuesday. I'm glad to have you guys. You guys are always amazing. You guys are always good to have. Ida Hill, like I said, thank you. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, you're always here too, man. Mr. Jones is always here. It's always like the same cast of characters. It's like an episode of The Simpsons or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the same clique that shows up, and I like that. And thank you on one more quarter. Mike sounds good. Yeah. Uh, what I've been doing is I've been tweaking things and experimenting, working on this boom to make sure that things are just functioning right. Because I'm like, I got all this technology at my fingertips. There's no reason for any of it to be misfiring. You know what I'm saying? And now I got the internet popping. Like I have no excuse. And so you guys, my viewers, you guys shouldn't have to suffer through the torture of listening to me. Bad enough you guys got to listen to me. It's even worse when I sound like I've got a bucket cover in my head. You know what I'm saying? So at least this way you guys could hear me and all my craziness at least clearly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a good thing. Anyways, like I said, it's been a crazy week, man. It's been a crazy, 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 crazy week. Um, you guys saw the video that I made a couple of weeks, or like, yeah, it was last week, I think, last weekend, based off of Candace Owens is one of her previous videos. So Jimmy, what's happening, brother? It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Uh so I wanted to touch on that. That's why the title is as it is: Truth and Those Who Tell It Like It Is, right? And Journalistic Bondage. I'm going to get a little bit into the weeds and I may touch a little feelings. However, it's going to be clean, right? The sun is out, the kids are up, and they're probably headed outside, coming inside, doing stuff like that. So, serving dinner, I'm going to keep it clean, but I'm going to be truthful. Okay. I'm not going to pull too many punches. So, be cautious. Now, um, I'm glad to have seen a lot of other guys have noticed what I noticed, i.e., Robot Polisher, John Thor. Everybody's noticing. We're all starting to notice that the people that need to understand the composition of this earth are beginning to understand. The ones, what I mean by that are those with the loudest voices, right? Right now, Candace Owens is like a shot out of a barrel, basically, and a shot in the arm, so to speak, because just recently, and this is, I'm going to make a connection and a correlation, right? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Star Wars. I'm going to bounce in between realities, right? So now we're in Star Wars lore. I don't know if you're familiar with Star Wars. That's like one of my oldest brothers, his favorite thing in the world is like Kung Fu and Star Wars, right? And complaining. That's the three things that he likes to do. And four: math, complaining, Kung Fu, and Star Wars. He loves to do those things, right? Shout out to my brother. Love you, man. But I'm gonna jab you in the ribs a little. There we go. Internet doing what it do. But if you guys notice in Star Wars, before some characters die in a battle or die a certain way, they prepare their bodies, right? They prepare themselves to go into become part of the force, right? They like basically they're ready. They're ready to go. Uh, Master Yoda did it, and Obi-Wan did it, right? So I think Candace Owens and much of what she had to deal with in her time with the news group that Ben Shapiro was in, right? Obviously, we knew who her handlers were at that place, right? The Daily Wire, I think it is. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But Candace Owens was part of the Daily Wire. That's the one that, if I'm wrong about this as well, Dave Shapiro was a big part of, right? And still is a big part of. And they have a Jewish influence at the Daily Wire, obviously. Very, very strong Jewish influence. That's neither here nor there. I'm just telling it like it is, right? And so Candace was discussing Adolf Hitler in a particular, excuse me, and nationalism at some point. They, when I say they, I'm talking about those either outside of the news of the Daily Wire or barely on the outside of that news group. They went ahead and kind of twisted her words, and they made it seem as if Candace Owens thought Adolf Hitler was the best thing since sliced bread, and he just had a couple of flaws. Whatever, man. It is what it is, right? But Candace went ahead and got one of their folks out there in the open and questioned them. She was like, "Yo, this is exactly what I said. I have the news bits, or I have the reels. So let's play them." Right? She goes ahead, she plays them. I'm not gonna go into Candace's Owens full archives and show it to you. I'm sure it's all over the web. You know what I'm saying? There's enough flat earth, true earth stuff that I'm going to show to you today that I won't necessarily have to dig into that. But so she presses this guy, and this guy comes out and he's like, well, he's basically splaining, trying to explain himself in a way to make it appear as if his accusing her of calling Hitler a good guy was warranted and is founded on truth, when in fact we know that turned out to be a lie, right? And so she pressed him. He basically walked himself into a trap, and then she got him. And then, but the thing is, I'll give him credit. Even though he lied, he just said, "Hey, wasn't me. I stick by my guns. I said what I said, and that's it. Whether you agree with it or not, I said what I said." So basically, he's like, "Yeah, I lied." Well, okay, I'm not going to say he said that he lied, because he didn't say that he lied. He did say that he said those things. But as you hear what it is that Candace said live in that production where she speaks about Adolf Hitler, she clearly states things about Hitler, things about nationalism, in no way bigging him up, right? And so, this crapped all over her name. Now, here's one thing I want to talk about, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be Zionists, and I'm going to say what I need to say, Zionists, right? So it doesn't have to be Zionists. It could be anybody. When somebody lies on you, somebody, anybody, all they have to do is put one lie on you. That's it, just one. After that one lie, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's true, whether it's false. That's all people have to hear about you. Your name is being drugged through the mud. They could say something like you're a rapist. They could say something like you're a child abuser, you're a woman abuser, you're an alcohol or a drug abuser, right? These things, say they're all of them not true, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Your name's already, and then depending on what you're doing, depending on what's going on, you could be working for a company, and if you're working for a company, these things come up. They don't want their credibility ruined. So then you have things like HR that get involved, and then you are put under investigation. While you're put under investigation, you're losing pay. The company's losing pay. They figure, you know what? It's just easier to cut you loose. So whether you're innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter. All people, a lot of times people just want to cause sabotage in your life and then just ruin you, right? But you know what? For all the shortcomings, you could say, and all of her missteps, she's got a lot more home runs, right? She does, I feel she does, and she's done more good for folks than she has bad. Now, I could tell you it's a double-edged sword of sorts, right? Me coming from a black perspective, it's tough to say in some regards, because yes, there was a time where Candace Owens was just talking bad about black people, and I'd sit back and I'd look at her like, what the hell is she talking about? You know, she's talking about an element, or rather a community that doesn't necessarily have the media on their side, and never really has had the media on their side. And so she would talk in a way to where her handlers, most of them white, most of them Jewish and Zionist, right? They would basically be like, go, Candace, go. Just go ahead, talk that sass, talk that mess about black people. Not one time did they censor her. Not one time did they put her on blast and talk bad about her. It wasn't until she started seeing the light because of things like the conflict in Palestine, this one and that one and this one. Whereas if she would have done her due diligence, she would have seen that her handlers at Fox and every other place, right? A lot of these people are Zionists. A lot of these people are the same kind of people. You find them throughout history. You find them backing the same groups. You find them in the same institutions. I'm telling you, this isn't any anti Semitic or anti anything. It's neither anti nothing or uncle anything. Get it, Ty, uncle? Anyway, I'm just full of jokes today. But truthfully speaking, um, it's not speaking, ill on anybody. It's just telling the truth, right? And so I'm not making fun of anyone. Just basically where a particular concentration or influence of people lines up is in things that could potentially affect how folks think. The media, the media through magazines, publishings and writings, televisions, newspapers, um, TV shows, movies, right? And Now everything is being streamed to us, whether it's streamed through YouTube, Rumble, StreamYard, like this joint that I'm using, right? StreamYard, whatever. You're getting stuff streamed to us, and the dynamic has shifted a great deal. Area that was once ruled by a bunch of Zionists, right? And you could see it throughout history. It's now starting to become the property again, and rightfully so, of the people, us, to where you hear our thoughts. You don't have to get it from a movie and a movie basically telling you, or a show telling you how you need to think. No, you're getting it straight from the horse's mouth, right? You're getting our thoughts. And so I feel Candace Owens was a very convincing party for those folks, for the handlers. Whether you want to attribute it to a white supremacist group, whether you want to attribute it to a Zionist group, whatever. She had her handlers. She was being paid very well, but then she kind of broke away from what they had going on. As soon as she decided she wanted to do that, this is where the Star Wars comparison comes into play. As soon as you let go of the physical that you have, the sky's the limit. Because it seems as if they cut her loose from Newswire, and she was going from place to place, the Breakfast Club. She was going with these black outlets, doing basically she was setting up interviews, right? Seeing where she could fit in best. At least that's what it looked like to me. That's what it appeared like to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how it appeared to me as well as everyone else. Now, I could tell you truthfully, a lot of folks in the black community were laughing at her. I didn't think any of it was funny, because while she was breaking away from the Ben Shapiro's and everything else, and this dude is not to be trusted, right? Actually, it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish, Zionist, Christian, whatever. If you work for the news media in general, they are run by the same group of people every single time. And it doesn't matter what your faith or denomination or color is. If you work for those people, you are not to be trusted. I'm sorry. You've been given well over 75 years to get it right. You screwed up. And so now the power is coming back to the people, and you've lost all credibility. And we're holding you accountable. That's the difference between us and the people of the past. We're holding you jokers accountable. I would have said an expletive right there. It was so close, but now I just had to remember what I promised. But we're holding you guys accountable. That's the difference. And you're being ignored. That's part of it. You're being demonetized. That's part of it. Your pockets are getting thin. It is what it is. So you guys are going to have to find a different way to make your daily bread. You're going to have to go out and hustle. Do it the way everybody else does it these days, right? Make an honest living. Okay? That's not an honest living when you're lying to people every single day. That's not an honest living, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But in my opinion, that journalism bit right there, that and that's okay, because now you're being ignored. Your money is coming up funny, and now the news belongs to us, because now we're giving the news. And then the news that you give will probably you'll be relevant. You guys in the news media will be relevant by this. We're going to take your clips and we're going to make jokes and memes out of them. So you'll appear in things like Saturday Night Live, which even that to some degree, I don't trust them either. They're a bunch of Zionists all in their own right. The guys like them, the guys like Bill Maher and stuff like that, we will use you guys like the cannon fodder. We're going to use you guys. We're going to make memes and jokes out of you, because you've completely lost all credibility and relevancy. And it's a sad day for you, but it's an exciting day for us, and for the future of what journalism and true news is. Um enough of much of that rant, but I just kind of want to come back and bring it to True North with Candace Owens, and where she sits, where she's been, and where it looks like she's heading now. And so I'm saying all that because she has a powerful voice. And anybody that has a powerful voice, I think you need to use that thing to the best of your ability, right? Uh, it's easy for me to say something like the best of your ability because you have things like getting paid, right? Maybe that's your bread and butter every day. You're doing your best to be as truthful as possible as an independent journalist, right? Even Jimmy Dore, and I only say even because Jimmy Dore is a comedian. However, he's put together a very successful network of his own, right? The Jimmy Dore Show and everything, which you call it the Jimmy Dore Show, but the stuff that you get from his show is truth, right? Or his version of truth. And then the rest you can try and figure out for yourself, which is cool, right? Because he calls things out as they come. If he hears news and he's like, I think that's BS, but hey, here's the link. You guys figure it out for yourself. He breaks things down the way he feels is necessary. And you want to know something? I give him props for that. Even though he's a comedian, he's got a team and a staff over there that they kind of collaborate and they basically do their best to provide the best in the news that they could give to us, the audience. And then we figure it out. And then you got little parasites like me that kind of break it down further and then pour it out to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I don't do, I definitely do my own research, but when you hear it from guys like that, it's interesting. It's interesting the takes they have on certain things. So again, back to Candace Owens and what she's going through. So now recently and lately, since Candace Owens has broken away from the Daily Wire, Candace, it looks like she has added rocket fuel to her game because now it's given her access and opportunity where once she didn't have these things. Does that make any sense? Do you know what it is I'm saying? Guys, as you're coming in, please be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share. Definitely be sure to share. Right. And so she didn't have these opportunities, but she was getting paid well. You know what I'm saying? It goes with that saying, a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. So even though she was committing a professional suicide to some sort, she was actually just beginning to rebirth herself. She was rebirthing herself. She was putting herself out there, and maybe she didn't know what to expect, but she is lovable in her own way, right? And she's got a following. She's got people that like her. She's got people that feel she's genuine. And whether you agree with her or not, a lot of people do not agree with Candace Owens. You have to you have to at least respect her for her being genuine. Now you got guys out there like Piers Morgan that this dude doesn't believe half of what he says, right? You got a lot of journalists out there that say things that they don't believe half of what they say. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know this happened." I'm not even going to give you examples. Like you see it all the time. The Bill Maher's, the Piers Morgans, these guys are just they think they know so much, right? And maybe they know more than what they're leading out to be, but the thing is they hold a particular agenda because they're getting paid well. So they're going to speak lies in order to keep that goose from laying, in order to keep that goose to continue to lay the golden egg, the proverbial golden egg. Excuse me, tongue tied over here. So, how am I doing so far with the cusses, guys? How am I doing so far? I'm not cussing, right? I'm good so far, right? I know as soon as I come out the dang box, I'm over there just cussing up a storm. And we're 25 minutes in, and I haven't said one expletive yet. Pumping that. I'm doing that the Arsenio Hall. You know what I'm saying? Oh, 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 oh. Anyway, so as of recent, we know that Candace Owens, she's been holding it down. She has she said her piece on the Jimmy Dore show. I went ahead and made a video on that 2 videos ago, right? And it's down there in my history. If you're part of my channel, you could go ahead and you could check that out. It's probably like 179, video 179. You can check that out there. But video 180, right, is basically the follow-up. Now, here's my thing. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm just gonna play these real quick, right? I'm not gonna harp on them too long because they're my videos, right? I don't want to make it seem as if excuse me. I apologize. Excuse me for that. I don't want to make it seem as if, I'm Mr. Important over here. But yeah, 169. But I want you guys to get a feel for what I'm talking about and the direction I want to take today's video. Plus, there's some other stuff that I got to show y'all. And that I've got to save for y'all. Some other stuff that I'm looking at I'm sorry that I just acted crazy right here. Some other stuff that I've just been seeing recently, and it just blows my mind. Okay? Just blows my mind. Excuse me. So I'm going to show y'all this right here. Okay, we present this to y'all. No slides. I'm not looking for slides, man. Dang. Share screen. There we go. There we go. So we're gonna check this out real quick, and this is my video 179. Let's check it out. Let's do it right here. YouTube family, what's good? What's happening? Let's chit chat for a little bit. I just got through watching some Jimmy Dore. He had an interview with Candace Owens and everything else like that. It was a phenomenal interview. I liked it. But a couple of things dawned on me while watching that interview, and then the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop that interview, because that's what it was, in the description box, right? So you guys can see for yourselves. But while Candace Owens, who she's part of, I guess you could say, a fringe media to some degree, where she tells her truth. Jimmy Dore, he's a comedian. He does his part. He tells his truth, right? And much of what they believe between Candace Owens, Jimmy Dore, it's much the same. Russell Brand, you could put him along that same vein, right? But a lot of these guys coming out saying their truth like it is, what do they all have in common, right? Many followers. So these guys, being some version of fringe news, have millions upon millions of followers. So then you could take actual journalists, but I'm not shitting on these guys in their craft, right? And I think Candace Owens is an actual journalist, but you could take all those guys, you could throw them in the same lump as Redacted and Tucker Carlson and everything else, right? All these guys are giving their version of the truth, which basically it kind of mirrors the other. One mirrors the other. They all basically look the same. Now, the reason I'm talking about these guys in this interview is because, with this last interview that I just listened to, and like I said, it's going to be in the description box, they spoke on topics like the George Floyd, BLM, the Jews, even, right? The cocoa shot, you name it. Now, a lot of these topics at one time, actually up until recently, were considered taboo. How taboo was it? So taboo that it would put Sade and the game out of business. All right, okay, all right. That's my joke. I'm gonna let it ride. But real talk, it's so taboo that these guys, they now have free reins to talk about them openly, right? And so they're not going to be demonetized or anything else like that. These guys are basically free to speak however which way they'd like to. So we think. Of course, you guys, at least I think you guys know what it is I'm about to say, except for something like the flat earth. I just find it funny. And it's because these guys, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, these guys have the pulse on what people are talking about and what's bothering everybody, right? These guys know, right? But the problem is that they're not even going to touch the flat earth. Why not? They're not going to touch the true earth. Why not? It's readily available. This is like something that's on everybody's lips. So you guys hear that, right? Something that's on everybody's lips, obviously, right? Whether you agree with the true worth or not, this is something that's everybody's talking about. It's like the new dang fidget spinner, pretty much. to some degree, but it's got a little bit more efficacy because this talks about the constitution of where it is we actually live. It's not just a simple toy that you could buy at the dollar store or something. So, with that being said, all right, there's much to that video and stuff like that. I'm not going to bore you with the particulars. You can find video 179 in my archive. But then I have video, if you hadn't seen the latest video that I made, video 180, I'm going to play that for you, right? I'm going to play that for you real quick. Oh, let me go ahead, present for you video 180. No, where we at? There we go. Boom. Dang, this thing's wild. There we go. Let's chit chat for a little bit. So, when you speak to the universe, sometimes the universe responds. So, right here, if you hadn't watched Candace Owens' latest production, she talks about this and that, about religion and Andrew Tate, a little bit about this and a little bit about that. It's pretty interesting stuff. She has some interesting content. I so far I dig it. Right, since Candace has struck out on her own, it's been a blessing. I think a lot of these guys with powerful voices and good content, I think they should have done this from the get-go. And so, with what I discussed, the last video that I made, it was about Candace Owens, Russell Brand, and Jimmy Dore and Redacted. Those guys within the vein, that have spoken about everything from the shot, the free, whatever it is. It's a dude, right? Uh, all that craziness. They speak of all this craziness, right? How the government's corrupt and everything else. However, they just don't want to talk about the flat and true earth. I just think that's funny. However, today, it seems as if my prayers were answered. I want y'all to listen to this. I'm going to drop this video right here of Candace Owens' show in the description box, and then my thoughts afterwards. Now listen to this. Proud? Let's talk about that. And speaking of Pride Month no more, let's get the sad news out of the way. Brigitte Macron may lose her coveted status as the first man of France because elections are underway and Macron has been defeated by Le Pen's party in the first round. And as to be expected, Paris is on fire. But first, I learned something from a flat earther over the weekend who messaged me on Minette, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. Of course. All that. So, of course, it's funny because I think I made that video on Saturday, and already she's talking about that. And I specifically mentioned Candace Owens along the same lines of Jimmy Dore and all them. But those other guys are straight pussy. You know what I'm saying? All right. Guys, I did my best. I apologize. I did my best to keep the expletives and everything out. Geez, I apologize for that. Sorry, y'all. I know maybe I have kids and stuff around. I apologize for that. I did not mean to, I totally forgot that I was going to say some cuss words. I should have said viewers discretion is advised. I apologize for that, y'all. So far, I haven't said anything, but the old me is the one that was cussing. So shame on you, old me. Next time, do better. So I am doing better. I haven't cussed up to this point, but those are my old videos and stuff like that. Anyway, so the point of those being that Candace, she's got feelers everywhere, apparently, right? And these folks are spreading the word to her. She knows when news is hot. And here's the thing, is her handlers, okay, so far, it's one of two things, right? Either she is no longer in full control, or is she's no longer fully controlled by her handlers, right? Or they're giving her enough rope, just giving her more rope and a little bit more freedom to do a little bit more free journalism, right? It's one or two. I would like to think that she's just struck out on her own and she's just, all carefree, hair in the sun. I'm coming out. I want the world to know, the music and the niceness, sunshine and, rainbows and Jesus and all that, right? We'd like to think that. But at the end of the day, us as the truth teller, us as the truth seeker, we're always getting screwed because we're good people, right? We're good people. We have open arms and we have big hearts. So we try to give everyone their day in court. We try to err on the side of truth and justice for everybody, right? And we want to give everybody a fair shake, but it's hard after getting screwed over time and time and time again. So this is why I say, hey, when we celebrate these things like Candace Owens stepping out and doing her own thing and speaking of the flat earth, still need to do these things with caution because I Mr. Jones, I feel you, man. And I like that. By the way, Mr. Jones just said something that's pretty remarkable. And I think this is something a lot of people are going to use. You saw it here first, and you saw it from Mr. Jones first. Oh, you like that? Yeah, Pink Floyd. Thank you, I am Wilson. Something that you like off this channel, other than hearing your own craziness. But thank you for that, man. Thank you for that, I am Wilson. And so, um, where was I? So we would like to celebrate her and all of her successes and everything else, but part of that cabal. And the only reason I'm saying that, right? And I feel Mr. Jones. So I feel you when you say Jesus is our handler, but still, she's still under the guise of YouTube, as am I, and as is everyone else. However, difference is I got you guys, right? I don't have, and I might have a couple of other people spying on me. It wouldn't fuck if fun times are good for everyone. That's what I said. Fun. Um, it wouldn't surprise me. And so with that, the reason I'm saying all that is because I would give her that much trust for now. But I'm not gonna fully commit to her. She's a great channel. She's got a good content that I'm very interested in, with material that I'm interested in, right? And a view on how she sees things that I'm very interested in. But these days, and that's it, God's going to send a strong delusion to weed out the believer from the non believer. Let God's word be the truth and every man a liar. Absolutely true. Can't argue that one bit. And so I have people every day that, they'll see my video and then they'll approach me. They'll be like, hey, man, saw your video. I don't like Candace Owens. She is not for black people, this, that, the third. And I'm like, okay, I could see why you would say that. I could see why, in that respect, you don't trust her. I get it. And so Candace Owens has made her bed and now she's got to lie in it, right? She still has a lot of people that like her. She still has a lot of people that will follow her. And at the end of the day, what's the truth, right? Whether you're black, white, green, purple, gray, what is the truth? Now, me as a man, right? I am born the way I am, right? Without these tattoos and these rings and these rubber bands and stuff like that. I'm born the way I am. You born the way you are. Uh, I'm happy with who I am. I'm proud of who I am, right? Has life been interesting for me based solely on who I am? Yes. What I look like? Absolutely. I can tell you that. Oh yes. Right? Um how I think? Totally. I had a life-changing event just a few months ago based off of how I think, right? I had my life turned upside down based off of how I think alone. So that those things are what they are, but let that let that show you right there that Nobody likes the truth. The truth is a painful thing for people to have to deal with, right? And so if they feel it's going to disturb their bottom line, you telling the truth, you're gone, whatever it is you do. Whether you're working, whether you're baking cakes, whether you're juggling for kids, if that's what you do, but at the same time you go against the grain and you speak the truth, you will be shot out of a cannon. That's a promise, right? So you have I am Wilson over here saying, if Candace can make $1 million fronting flat Earth, she will accept the grift. Now, I would love to say that True Earth is the grift. It's not. It's not, unfortunately. So, I what's unfortunate is the ball that we live on. That's been the grift the whole time, and we've all. I am Wilson. We've all been fooled, man. You're just you just don't even know that there's a party going on, and that you don't even know that you've been invited. You're just late, right? There's a party going on, and you're just not in it, man. I don't know what else to tell you, my man. Um, but yeah, like when you see the truth for what it is, like you can't unsee it. I had to tell my brother this, in that he didn't understand. He was asking me. He said, "What is it going to take for you to come back to be a believer in the globe?" And I told him, you know, I would like to come back and believe in the globe if it were the truth. If it were true, I'd be more than happy to come back and say, "Hey, the globe is what it is, right? It's the truth. It's the true earth." The only problem with that is that that's not true. Like I'd be lying to myself, right? Saying, "Hey, you know, the earth is A, B, and C," when in fact I know it's D, E, and F. Like, why would I do that? Like people don't understand the amount of strife that you have to deal with just not knowing. And here's what it is if you were born with a javelin in your neck, you would think that it's normal to have a javelin in your neck. But if you were born and you lived by yourself and you were born with a javelin sticking out of your neck, you've never met wild, you would think that it was normal to have a javelin sticking out of your neck. And you hadn't met nobody. You hadn't met people. Soon as you start meeting people, they're missing a javelin from their neck, right? These people are all missing javelins from their neck. There must be something wrong with these people. Why don't they have a javelin in their neck? They look totally weird. Well, no, actually, it's you that's the weird one, right? Maybe I could have flipped that around and said, everybody's got a javelin in their neck, but they just don't know that having a javelin in your neck isn't normal. You're the only one walking around without a javelin in your neck, and you're like, "Hey, I can actually fit through a door and not have to worry about it because I don't have a javelin in my neck. I can breathe right and I could sleep and turn my head on a pillow the normal way because I don't have a javelin in my neck." It's not normal to have a javelin in your neck. But the thing is, you don't know that it's not normal. You can't see it as being abnormal because this is what you've been fed your entire life. This is what I've been fed my entire life. All of us. I am Wilson. Listen, we were all there. You telling us about the globe, you're telling us the same story we've heard time and time and time. You know what? You know what it's like? You know what it's like, I am Wilson. I don't know if you're familiar with American customs, right? One American custom is the ball dropping for New Year's Eve in New York City, or New Year's Day, excuse me. So the ball dropping out in New York every year, as far as I've known, when I was alive as a little kid. You know who we had dropping the ball in Times Square? We had Dick Clark. And no, I didn't cuss. That's his name. He's no longer with us, right? Dick Clark. If you don't know who Dick Clark is, Dick Clark of American Bandstand, Dick Clark of this one and that one. He's done many shows. He's probably, I think he was even on the episode of The Love Boat, right? But he's one of those, him, Ryan Seacrest, um what's his name? Regis Philbin. They're all the same, little they're those guys that come out and they just kind of, get everybody all jabbed up and stuff like that, and they all have a good time. And so I like that, Mr. Jones. And so the thing is we grew up in American culture with Dick Clark. Yeah, no, no, no. It's I Am Wilson. It's the same stories. So we grew up in American culture with Dick Clark, and we were used to seeing Dick Clark. We were every year we were used to seeing Dick Clark until he passed. And now having a New Year's Eve and the ball drop without Dick Clark, you have to replace Dick Clark with somebody new every year. And somehow they kind of either they mess it up, it's good or it could be bad. You don't know what you're going to get, but you know it's not going to be Dick Clark and you know it's going to be different, right? And so I'm just using that as an example because this is something that's pretty relatable to everybody in this group over here and to most Americans, if not people worldwide, because people would tune in every year during New Year's so they could see the ball drop from Times Square, right? And so Dick Clark was the standard of what New Year's in the world was, right? Definitely New Year's in America. We don't have that no more. And I'm equating that to the ball. We saw that every time. It was always out there. And I'm not just saying that because I'm not saying the ball is out of style. This isn't a style based thing, this is a truth based thing. This is one of those things that, you just overlook because you just overlook. You just overlook because you're like, it's just there. You take it for granted. It's just something that you know until you do the research for yourself. That's the thing is you need to do your independent research. When you do your independent research, the tables turn. When you ask people that have your best interest in mind, the tables turn. Things become different. The reality, you know what, I am Wilson. Let me tell you something. Let me read that to you guys. The reality is people die. So are you saying New Year no longer happens because he is dead? No, nobody's saying that. And you know what? I am Wilson. You got one more shot, my man. And then I'm gonna just you're gonna be silenced. I don't want to do that to you. You're not a bad person. I'm sure you're a great dude and a good father and a good husband, a brother, and somebody that people love and could rely on. But you're gonna make me do it to you. Don't want to. Please. That is not what I'm saying. Anyway, so because of those things, we know that the ball is not true. There's a lot about this earth that we're starting to see with a new set of eyes. And what's important behind that is because we're seeing the basics, the foundations of what this place is with a new set of eyes. Everything else is now see through the lens of scrutiny. You have to now re-examine everything else. So, right? One time you might have thought this was a hat. This might have been a hat for you. You might have thought this was a hat. Then somebody threw a straw in it, and then you're like, what does this straw do? Once you see what the straw does, you realize this thing holds drinks, holds liquid, holds things that you could drink and contain a liquid, which actually lies flat. Liquids typically lie flat. They just do, right? I it changes my whole paradigm on how I normally saw this or things that look like this as. So anything that looks like this, it's not a hat anymore. Now this is something that I can either scoop liquids in or I could drink things out of a container like this. That shouldn't be a problem for me, right? And so my whole paradigm shifts, my whole perspective on things, cups, they all change. They all change. And so the true earth has become like that for people, not just like that for people who just believe people. No, but for people that truly see this earth for what it is. They truly see the earth for the treasure that it gives us, right? We don't take what we see for granted anymore. That's why the fear has kind of minimized a little bit. the fear, the anxiety that many of us used to suffer at one point, we don't have as much of that anymore, because now we're becoming grounded in the truth. We're becoming grounded with what this place actually is, and that we matter as people, right? And that our existence means something. It's not just a coincidence that we're here, like many of us were taught. You know what I'm saying? And so it makes it it makes it it allows us to have some kind of breathing room, right? A way in which we can breathe and just relax and be like, wow, okay, I could get my second wind. I can live. I have a chance. I have an opportunity to do things now. Now I have an informed choice. I have information that is true. And now, based off of the information that is true, I can live the life that I feel I can live within particular means, based off of new information that I've got. Because the stuff that I thought was the truth turns out to have been a lie. And so now the way I thought I was playing the game is actually wrong. Now, based off of this new information, I got to change it up a little bit. I can change it up a little bit because now I see the truth for what it is. If that makes sense, please just something signal me, thumbs up, like, please share, sub, something like that. Just give me a thumbs up if you see what I'm saying. So my thing is that globe people aren't bad people. It's those that lie, right? It's those that lie. And excuse me, a lot of what you're going to hear, because we narrowed it down to people that support the globe and come out to such a degree where they will sabotage people of the true and flat earth. We see them now for deceivers and liars. Because if all you did was say, "Hey, the Earth is a globe," I don't think it's flat, and you just disagree, that's one thing. But as soon as you start to infringe on other people's lives and livelihoods, just based off of what it is they believe, you're a deceiver. You're not good, and you must have some trick up your sleeve, deceit and lies. And so when you hear globers lie, globers are liars. Like, you're, because we can't come to any other conclusion, right? We've provided you with the sciences, we've provided you with everything else, but now a lot of what you do is based solely on trolling, uh, and bad stuff and lying, and then going around and telling people, "Hey, this guy's a flat earther." Now, here's what I caution. I'm throwing this caution to you guys. This is what I foresee. You've got me, obviously I'm black, right? So I'm going to give you the true earth from my perspective. You're going to have a lot of people say that this potentially, you could see that you may have people say, "Oh, you're a flat earther? Oh, this is some white supremacist agenda." They're gonna, if they hadn't tied it in already, they're gonna find a way to tie that in to make it not as palatable, right? To make you not go for the truth anymore. And this is why understanding the people that are behind these journalistic agendas, being part of the journalistic bondage, being stuck in that paradigm because you ain't got no choice. There's no way out because you're being paid, and probably paid really well by your handlers, to speak a certain tone, to sing off of a certain sheet of music, right? They don't want you to say what the truth is. As soon as you start saying the truth, they're going to pull you in for a meeting, and then they're going to let you know, "Hey, you can't say that." That's a warning. As soon as you do it again, you're fired. And a lot of times, while they're firing you, they're sending lies down the street just to let people that may hire you later on, they're going to shame you. They're going to say shameful things about you. They're going to say, "Oh, you like to have sex with dogs." They're going to lie on your name. "You like to have sex with dogs. You grape, people. You go ahead and you grope and grape, people that are very young and stuff like that. You were found with a kilo of Coca-Cola in your car. Not really Coca-Cola, but you know what I'm talking about, right? You always carry a kilo of Coca-Cola with you. Stuff like that. These people will lie on you. They will lie. And while you're getting fired, that's what they're going to do. Or before you get fired, they're going to put this news out there so that they can gum up what you have going on, what projects you have in the future or that you're currently working on, so that all things cease. There's an investigation on you, which is basically a lot of times run by those same people. It's it's if I told you it's mind-boggling, it is mind-boggling. But things are what they are. It's run by the same people. It's run by the let me tell you, this is how crazy it is. You got these Zionists, right? You got these Zionists that run media. And then they say, we don't run media. Meanwhile, you got an award, the Pulitzer Prize. And you mean to tell me you don't run media? You got the biggest prize for dang people by, don't know if he was a Zionist totally, but he was of a particular influence. You got a prize named after him. A prize named after him for the top journalist. So you mean to tell me you don't? So, okay. So I'm not even going to say all that. I'm not even going to say all that. I'm not. I'm not even going to get into all that. But I hope you guys understand what it is I'm talking about. Because the truth is what it is, man, and the truth hurts. But the sooner you start to get used to what the truth is, the better off you're going to be. The easier your life is going to be, and the less stress you'll have. The less stress you'll have to deal with. Now, I feel Candace is a lot stronger now that she doesn't have them folks over there trying to tell her what to do, how to say things, and what to say. I feel she's a lot stronger. I need to. I feel that maybe she needs to go a step further, and she needs to have her own platform separate from what's on YouTube, right? Separate, totally separate from what's on YouTube, because on YouTube they're run by them folks too. Run by them folks. And a lot of things are starting to come together. A lot of things are starting to make sense. A lot of things are we're getting, the come to Jesus moments. They're no longer few and far between, but now they're starting to become a dime a dozen. As one major truth happens, it's like solving a Sudoku puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Things start to line up, and a whole bunch of stuff, but none of it makes sense. But all that stuff that you once knew, or that you still know, or all that stuff is scattered about. One truth. All it takes is one truth to gel all those things that you knew from long ago, to gel everything and make them make sense. This is why the true earth is so scary, I am Wilson. This is why you don't want that truth coming out. I don't know who you work for. I don't know what you do. But if you were serious about your stuff, you'd come out here and you talk to me about it. And you talk to the crowd about it. Because I welcome you with open arms when you come onto my platform. I don't just block you because you disagree with what we say. If you disagree, you disagree. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, we see this place for what it is. You're not changing our mind. We were globe people like you, right? But if you were serious about it, you come out here and you'd speak your piece. You know what I'm saying? You'd say what you need to say. You wouldn't. You'd be like, "Hey, I feel it's a globe, and here's why." And I think you're wrong. I'd be like, "Okay, well, you're wrong because here's the evidence. Here's the actual truth. Not having to sit there and rely on a bunch of people stealing money. That's another thing. Stealing money from you, me, everybody else here in these 50 states. Stealing money. Stealing money. And why do I say they're stealing money? Because it's our taxpayer money going towards a lie. So you're not doing with that stuff that you said that you're doing, right? You're stealing it from us and you're giving us a damn story. And we're pissed off, and rightfully so. And you want to know something? People need to continue to talk just like this every single time, minus the expletives, of course, especially during the daytime with the kids around. I get it. But no, you need to talk like this more. We need to talk like this more. We need to engage liars more like this, because we're fed up. We're tired of it. If you want to go along to get along, that's you. If you want to continue to live in your dreams of everything is okay, meanwhile, Rome is on fire out here. Hello. If you want to continue, and while we're living in the truth, we're going to call out all those liars. We're going to call out all those liars, and we're not going to play nice with y'all no more, man. That's the thing. We're holding you guys accountable. It's a scary time to be a globe person that's been lying to people. It's a scary time to be Professor Dave. It's a scary time to be, what's his name? McToon, Fight the Flat Earth, Dave McKeegan, Simon Dan, and many others. It's a scary time to be you guys, because once your time runs out, people are going to come looking for you. And I can't wait to see every second of it. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to sit there with my popcorn and all my stupid flat earth friends, right? All the dumb flat earth people that I'm cool with, and we're going to watch you guys get roasted and be shamed publicly for all the lies that you put out. And boy, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day. All those lies that you guys were saying, we're going to call you out, and then it's going to just drop, because everything that NASA says is irrelevant. It's a lie. Everything that the government says, they don't even know who to present on a podium during a presidential debate, right? They got this guy. The Matrix is so crazy. You don't know what it is you're watching anymore. The lies are so crazy. We watch it for a little bit and then we wind up tuning out, because it's just like it's like eating McDonald's, and now you know McDonald's is poison and it's there to kill you. You just don't want it anymore. You might, because you've been familiar with it at one time, you might take a nibble here and there. But now that you know the truth and what it does to your body, you don't want it no more. You don't want to make stuff no more. Your globe is the same thing. Your globe and your people that push that lie and that nonsense, it's the same thing. I am Wilson. And it doesn't matter how much I yell to try and convince you. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to show you it's done. Your time is up. It's an uncomfortable feeling to be where you're at, because once the hammer drops, stuff is going to change and you're not going to like it, because you haven't seen your eyes aren't ready. You're not going to like it. It won't fit well on you, because you're still going to think heliocentric. It's not going to work with you. Of course, I am Wilson. Listen, man. We're not going to expect you to know, right? If you can't get the proper stuff out of the scriptures, that's all on you, bro. Listen to science, because science will tell you the truth. Even though science is sitting there and they've done for the last Lord knows how long is lie to us, right? All you need, it's just like writing a truth table. All you need is one lie. Just one lie. One lie, and then everything else that you've said, you lose credibility. You lose credibility. So there it is. All these guys out here that are breaking free. And as they're breaking free, they're being free. They're being free from the clutches of the synagogue of Satan. Because them folks that are doing that to us, that are doing that to you, to me, to the children, to the future that's coming up, that's the synagogue of Satan doing what they do best: to lie, to steal, to manipulate the minds of mankind. No, nobody's saying that. Now you're just saying stuff just to say stuff. I am Wilson. Nobody's saying that. So now their manipulation is, it's the chickens are coming home to roost. Let me tell y'all something. There's a dude named Louis Farrakhan. If you hadn't heard of him, I highly recommend you look for him and you listen to a lot of what he says. A lot of people call Louis Farrakhan a anti-Semite. I'm not going to play any of his stuff here, but much of what he said was the truth. And a lot of the black community at that time, and even now still, right? I don't know how he's been, but I know he's like in his 90s right now. A lot of what he said was the truth, but the truth coming from a black person, a lot of y'all have a hard time listening to it, man. And I'm not talking about you people. You got when I say you people, I'm talking about my audience. I'm not talking about y'all here. I'm just talking about Americans and just people in general. If it's coming out of a black mouth, people have a hard time listening. People have a hard time believing it. And this is stuff that the media does to kind of play on you too. A lot of times they'll get the white guy, the white woman, the beautiful woman, the beautiful white guy, beautiful white woman, the English accent. And of course, the accent is used to sit there, promote an agenda, and to make you think a certain way. And so that right there is going to make you trip and think a certain way. And they know this. You get a brother out of Chicago telling you the truth and like it is, no matter how much evidence they give you, you're going to say they're bad. You're going to say they're anti this, anti that. This dude was putting us on game. Black folks knew it. We knew, right? Whether a lot of us wanted to hear it or not, that's another story. You know what I'm saying? But he was trying to tell a lot of white America, and he was telling America in general. Nobody wanted to listen to him because everybody wanted to listen to the government when the government said that the Nation of Islam, the fruit of Islam, is a group of terrorists or they're a group of black extremists or something like that. Never did they kill anybody. Never did they harm anybody. Meanwhile, you got a KKK group out there doing the most to people that look like me and the people that don't think like them, right? Doing the most to them since this country's inception, damn near. Damn near. I didn't say all the way, right? But they haven't been labeled a terror group. But somebody like Louis Farrakhan telling the truth like it is, y'all got nothing but contempt, smoke, and hatred for him. And hey, I'm not sitting here to poke fun or to say I told you guys so or anything like that. But a lot of times the truth, it's a painful thing to witness when you're in the midst of the growing pains. It's a hard thing to admit and be like, you know what, we were wrong. We should have listened. But it allows you to heal. And the faster you get on with the truth, the faster it is for you to heal so that you can start to take on your blessings as they come, so that you can be ready to accept the blessings. To once you may have thought something was a curse, now your whole paradigm is shift. Maybe those things that once you thought were curses coming your way, they're actually blessings. And you can actually learn to accept them, manipulate them, and use them in your day to day life to where you can continue to grow and love on your neighbor and those around you to the best of your ability. To the best of your ability. And that's the thing, yeah. I am Wilson. Let me tell you something, man. No, he wasn't hate. He wasn't a hateful man. He's not a hateful man. Louis Farrakhan isn't hateful. He didn't grow up to hate anybody. But here's the thing: what you need to understand, I am Wilson, is that hatred. These things are going to sound like hatred to people that are not black or the white folks, because a lot of these injustices that were performed in the United States were performed on black folks. And now your chickens are coming home to roost, and it's not what you like. It's not what you want to hear. It's not what you like to experience. But that's the truth. That's what it's going to feel like. The truth is going to feel like we're hating on you, but we're not hating on you. We're just giving you the truth. We no Ain't nobody threatening nobody. Ain't nobody coming out to try and harm nobody, right? But the KKK, where they're like N-word, go home, or else, where you have sundown towns still to this day. If you don't know what a sundown town is, the sundown town is a town that doesn't want you there based off of your skin color after a certain time in the day or in throughout the day. So if it turns out that it's like 6 p.m. and the sun is going down, they'll have a sign out that says N words and probably another group. You cannot be here past this time. If you are, all bets are off. Sundown town. And you want to know something? They're still around all over America. So I am Wilson. What are you talking about, hate? Like, explain to me when I talk about Louis Farrakhan and the truth that he's given Americans, right? Americans. He's given Americans warnings for years. Well over the tune of 60 years, Louis Farrakhan has been warning America in his own way. He's got a fiery spirit about him. You know what I'm saying? But he's been telling us, if you start looking at his videos, you're gonna see that it's the truth. You're gonna be like, damn, I didn't like how he said it, but it's true. And you want to know something? What sucks, Ian Wilson, is white folks are coming out and now they're starting to say the truth. You know why? Because a lot of what Black Americans and Black folks in general, right? World and nationwide in general, a lot of what we experience, maybe my experience ain't the same as somebody else's experience. And I'm not saying that, oh, woe is me or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. But we see that there is an element of hatred for a certain group of people in this world that have done nothing to anybody. We hadn't done anything to anybody, but the hatred is worldwide, right? But in America specifically, right, it has formed and it's become its own thing. And so now a lot of what has affected us for years that has gone ignored. Now it's not being ignored as much because now it's starting to fall on the shores of people that it wasn't usually affecting. Now that it starts to affect people that one time they just ignored Black people about it, right? Now that it's starting to affect them, you can see it all over TikTok. White folks are like, "Oh, these bills are too high. Our government is lying to us." And this is everybody. It's not just your Alex Joneses. It's not just your sovereign souls, the Unchained Mind. It's not just the truth community that's singing these words. It's that saying we're being lied to. We're being lied to. No, everybody's saying it now. Everybody's saying it. Everybody's saying it because now people want to wake up when their stomach is empty. People want to make up when they want to wake up when their money is funny, when their gas tank isn't that full no more, right? When it's hard for themselves to find daycare for their kids. Now people want to start to wake up. You know why? Because now their way of life is being threatened. That's why. Comfort, Americans, people in general, but Americans, we're used to our comforts. We're used to our creature comforts. As soon as you take online banking away, nobody knows how to write a check no more. Nobody knows how to balance a physical checkbook no more. Are you kidding me? You take away to something as small as online banking, people will lose their minds. They wouldn't know how to function. Nobody knows how to iron their clothes no more. Nobody knows how to, remember a phone. I used to remember phone numbers like it was nobody's business. I'd remember a phone number in like 4 seconds. I'd remember a phone number. People don't remember phone numbers no more. They bank on things like this, Iron Wilson. The government banks on your ignorance and your comfort, right? They bank off of that. And because of that, they take advantage of you. And because of that, Hosea 4:6. If you don't know what Hosea 4:6, one of my favorite passages in the Bible, you must look it up. Hosea 4:6. Very true. Very, very true. And here's another one. I haven't seen Nano CBD here. I see you're from Canada, one more quarter. All right, I'm assuming you're from Canada. Canada. The native people in Canada, their entire layer of whites were murdered and separated for years. Now the government sits them in drug and alcohol filled. Yeah, but that's not just Canada. One more quarter. You see this stuff being repeated and replayed here in the United States, where fire water they give it to the dang natives, or they give it to the one type of native. Now we're starting to learn that you had Black natives, which this is part of the true earth. We're starting to learn the true history of this nation, right? We're starting to learn the true history of this nation. They bank on you. Okay, just like a flat earther. I'm not doing my research, right? Sure. Okay. Sure. Exactly. Can't handle the truth. Can't handle. But Nano CBD's been doing so well for himself that he probably doesn't work. And if he does, he's probably just stashing that money away. Just like a flat earther, bank on me not doing my research. No, no, nope. That's why flat earth is like you won't find it on YouTube like that. You won't. You won't. You got to go elsewhere to find it. I am Wilson. Look, man, we're just calling out the truth. That's it. Either you get on or you move on. Either you get on or you move on. Perspective makes everything go below. Okay, right. Somebody teach, somebody educate I am Wilson because he hasn't figured it out yet. Sorry, I am Wilson. This is our party, my man. And until you could figure it out, you're gonna be on the outside looking in, not knowing why life is different for us and not for you. Sorry, I am Wilson. But now, guys, one of the things I wanted to show you recently, I hate to have to jump all over. I'd hate to have to jump all over the place, but recently, our man Taboo Conspiracy 3, shout out to Taboo Conspiracy 3. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this video made in the description box, right? I'm going to play that, and it's a great one. I want to Alan Nordstrom. Look at who it is. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Yeah, man. I just saw your I just saw your meme. It was funny. Your meme this morning, I think it was. It was amazing. Alan Nordstrom, welcome. Yeah, it doesn't. That's the problem. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you with this from Taboo Conspiracy 3. And I will be right. And I'll have my thoughts, but I'll also be right back. Let's go ahead and let's play this one right here.
Welcome, everyone. Today I have more exciting, demonstrable evidence of our flat Earth proven again by lasers. This video evidence comes from our friend Lee. He doesn't have a channel, but he has shared his laser test with us before. A big thanks to Lee for emailing me the video and sharing his work. The 3-year-old video of mine showing Lee's work was titled 16.4 mile laser test confirms flat Earth. I'll have a link to that video in the description. It's one of my favorites. As you can see, Lee's old footage was amazing, and I've shared it a few times since. Back then, Lee was able to film a laser at a distance of 16 miles. It really is awesome work. For this test, he was able to increase that distance to 23 miles. As you can see here, the laser on the left was at 14.4 miles. The laser on the right was at 23 miles. And yet, they're on the same level plane. The one on the left should have been hidden 95 feet below the horizon, if the globe were real. The one on the right should be 285 feet below the Earth bulge. But they're on the same line at the horizon. Do you really think that mirages can selectively do that? No, the flat Earth is our reality. Enjoy Lee's video.
Down a bit. Boom. Can you keep it there? So on Kootenay Lake in south central BC, I found this great little line of sight for a flat earth test. And it's going from a place called Walker's Landing or Powerline Beach to a place called Caslow Point, which is 14.4 miles away. So at 14.4 miles with our camera set up at 3 feet off the water, you're looking at like 100 feet of curvature. And if you subtract, say, 5 feet for the height of the laser, you're looking at 95 feet of curvature. And then we've also got a green laser set up at 23 miles up the lake at a place called Schroeder Creek. And there I got my friend Darren with the green laser set up. And at 23 miles, with the camera at 3 feet off the water, you're looking at 290 feet of curvature. Subtracting 5 feet for the height of the laser, it's 285 feet. And just to give you an idea, from the water to the bottom of the torch of the Statue of Liberty is 285 feet.
This is Steve out here in Caslow, BC, doing a flat Earth experiment with a laser beam. We got 3 people. One of them is north end of the lake in Schroeder Creek up that way. And then I am at the lighthouse in Caslow. And then we got Lee and his boys just to the left of that opening there, where the 2 pieces of land come together. Just to the left of that is Ryandale, BC.
We did before when you were down there the first time.
What do you see it reflecting on though? Like off the water?
No, just like a flash of blue.
In the air.
Oh, there it is. Dude, gotcha. Get down there with the camera.
It's on.
Gotcha. Wherever it was, buddy, you just nailed it. Is that in the right area?
Yeah, it's in the right area.
Oh, dude, no, it's not. Yeah, come on, Sonny. It's over here. Get on there and start looking for it. Yeah, dude, we just got you.
Okay, I'm just keeping on doing exactly what I was doing.
There, you're in the right direction. Just saw you again.
Did not see him.
There.
Negative.
Yeah. Okay, good boy.
Oh, there.
Dude,
Oh
you're
yeah,
crushing
you're
it.
you're doing it right
Oh
again
my
and
God,
again.
I can see you completely.
Get it on the camera, boys.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna see if I get it with just the camera here. I'm gonna take out the phone.
Keep doing that. You're getting it. Sweet.
No, it's.
Perfect.
I'm missing him now. He's not there.
Dude, I'm getting it every single time. He's just flashing
You're
me,
recording it.
and I'm recording it. Dude, I've got so many.
All right, guys. I think you guys get it's good to see you, Half. It's good to see you, Half Warrior. Yeah, I apologize for that. I know it's Wednesday. Weird Wednesday. And then previously we had messed up Monday. Substitute for Truer Tuesday last week. Weird Wednesday substituting for Truer Tuesday this week. So I'm all off kilter. So please forgive me. Get debunked all the okay. So we're being told. So I find it funny. I'm glad I am, Wilson, that you're asking how they get debunked. So he's done. I am Wilson. Taboo Conspiracy has actually done these tests himself a million times already, right? And he's come up basically with the same results. The thing is, people like you're not going to do the experiments yourself. You're not going to go over something flat and level like water, run the experiment yourself, which you could do, and you won't see it for yourself. So you're not going to do it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's a difference when you just look at somebody else's experiment and you scrutinize, but it's different. And it's different when you do the experiment for yourself and you see it for yourself and you get your own results and you do it over and over again in different conditions, right? And see what your yields give you. It's totally different. It makes you appreciate it more and you could speak on a basis of truth, right? And so again, when it comes to the true and level earth, this is what the clear cut, it's either this or it is not, right? That is the earth is level and plane. That is a truth that we can prove right there, just right there, that we are not doing these maneuvers that science is claiming that we're doing. Polaris and every other subsequent star around it. That is your proof, right? Or those are your proofs right there, right? Don't nobody know what those stars are. Just because we don't. And here's the thing. True earthers, flat earthers, we know what our limits are. We know what we know. We know what we know, what we can prove. We know what we don't know. We know. We know it. Like people are like, well, what's the moon then? I don't know what the moon is, but it gives you something other than what the sun does. The sun gives you. I know that. I don't know what the sun is, but it gives you something different than what the moon is doing. And it's not going in these places that everybody thinks it's going, right? There's stuff that we know we don't know, and we're comfortable with that. We're trying to figure things out. We're on a truth and a fact-finding mission. That's it. That's it, and that's all. The problem that comes from all of that is you're going to have people like the Noid from Domino's Pizza trying to come in and ruin everything as far as your work is concerned. Hold on, excuse me. Oh boy. Trying to come in and ruin everything. So again, no, boy. All right, I am Wilson. Yeah. Then you know what? I am Wilson. You know what I suggest? I am Wilson. I suggest you go to Taboo Conspiracies channel and you need to challenge him yourself. No, you need to say it. You need to challenge him yourself. He's going to send you to the videos that he made. You need to challenge him yourself. Don't ask me. Okay? You must challenge him yourself. I don't know if you guys saw Flat Earth Banjo's latest Hold on, guys. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. So this is the latest from Flat Earth Banjo. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this, and I will be right back after these messages. Hold on. I just got something that came across my lap, y'all. Let me drop this on y'all real quick, and I'll be right back with my thoughts.
Arthur, you and Neil deGrasse can go to the moon for free, holding hands for the hell I care. Tickets are printable. Get a social life, homie. I'm not the pushing cart you're pushing. I'm not your ex, and I'm not your girlfriend. Yo, you don't have to
Here's some
like me.
important
Swear
stuff
to
that I'm
God,
just
I
going to
don't
zoom
care.
through.
Sphere, all contained in a vacuum. It's the same of our Earth physical realm.
So we know the Earth is a globe because ships disappear over our curving horizon, right?
And we know that's bull.
Like that. That's always what happens, right? You can't zoom in with binoculars and then see the ship that seems to have disappeared below a curving horizon, right? Hold on a sec. 6 kilometers away. And look at that, they reappear. That's so weird. Now, shouldn't they be under curving water? Which I've never been able to make water curve. I don't think any scientist has ever been able to do anything to water to actually make it curve. So take that into consideration. But the Earth is a globe, right? Don't be ridiculous. Don't believe your own eyes, right? Water curves. Even though all the laws of physics say that water can't curve, it does. Just listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He has your best interest in mind. That's 18 kilometers away. Can still see the bottom of the ship.
So you still think the moon is a reflector of the sun's light, right? Well, stick around and you're going to find out that what mainstream science feeds us is a lie, and the moon actually produces its own light. Also, mainstream science also tells us that the moon was created by a Mars-sized planet. Hitting Earth broke a huge piece off, which is the moon, and now is orbiting Earth. But do you think if the moon was a reflector of the sun's light, it would be glowing like this all the time? Absolutely not. But if it was reflecting the sun's light, shouldn't it have a hot spot like these balls here? But pay attention to this video I'm about to show you. Check it out.
Alright, the exposed side is reading at 37.9. Let's go ahead and start moving that towards the side that has been shaded. Much cooler.
Wow. Then he's going to move it back. Watch this.
Go ahead and hold that at 42.6. Let's take it back to the side exposed to the moonlight, which will gradually drop. We are back to
Wow.
37.5.
So when you measure the temperature of the shade of the moon versus the light of the moon, you actually find that the shade of the moon is a lot hotter, which is opposite of the sun. We know that when sitting in the sun, it's a lot hotter than sitting in the shade of the sun. The Bible also tells us that the moon produces its own light. This is Mark chapter 13, verse 24. But in those days after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. One more, this is Isaiah 13:10. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Notice in these verses that God did not say the moon is a reflector of the sun's light, but a light in and of itself.
Flat earthers and globe earthers team up to do the experiment that will end the debate for
Oh,
good.
we're gonna have to
They're
talk about
traveling
this.
to Antarctica to watch the 24-hour sun take place. And if the physical sun is seen for 24 hours, then that would have to end the debate. But it would have to be the actual physical sun you see and not just sunlight, because there are certain parts of the year where the sunlight can actually reflect around the dome and cause there to be sunlight in all of Antarctica, but not being able to see the actual physical sun. So as you see at this time of the year, whenever the sun goes around, there's still sunlight in all of Antarctica around the ice wall, just not the actual. Oh, while I got you here, might as well explain southern star trails. So you see in hyperbolic vision. So if you were to place yourself at the equator and face north, it would appear that the stars rotated one way, and if you face south, they will appear to turn the other way due to hyperbolic vision. This is your dome of vision. So let's see if these guys can even get the clearance to go far enough south to see the supposed 24-hour sun on the supposed globe. Because all I've ever seen is people having to pay like $5,000 to $20,000 to go over to Deception Island in Antarctica and do a guided tour.
If you don't question.
So we just have curve hasn't been measured. I am Wilson, bro. You're gonna have to take a seat, my man. I don't know what else to tell you, man. You're gonna have to take. I'm gonna have to put you in timeout, bro. I'm sorry. Unless you guys are gonna come in there and eat him alive, I'm gonna have to put you in timeout. I am Wilson. Like that's not true. The curve hasn't been measured. I'm sorry. Your lies and you're welcome to come next time. Hyperbaric. Oh God. Oh Lord, have mercy. Hyperbaric vision in what? A hyperbaric chamber? What is this hyperbaric vision? I'm not going to act like I know something that I don't clearly understand or know. What is that? In the meantime, I'm going to put you in timeout because nobody's measured a curvature. You guys, you guys look for a reason for everything. You guys are like, oh, have you tried it like this? Did you try it upside down? Did you stand upside down and look at the horizon then? Then it's curved. See, you can measure it. That you guys try everything. It's funny. Even looking at a graph, when you draw an X and Y freaking plane, when you do these things on a plane, It's crazy. It's crazy because the x-axis is always straight and level. Not one time, no matter what the distance, not one time is anybody curving unless they start to curve. But x and y is x and y. This is where calculus becomes crucial and critical. This is where not some of calculus. This is where calculus gets crazy. It starts to measure the changes in things. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys can see me. So that's where calculus gets crazy. But any normal graph, x, y axis, x is straight and level. X is straight and level. X is always straight and level. And then they start to, you jam it up, you change it up based off of the type of globe. But everything is on a plane. Everything is flat and level. I can even go into that video and we could just shut everything down. Right? I am Wilson. We could do that. For True Earth Tuesday on a Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Flat Earth Banjo's show in the description box. But one thing I want to show you guys. Hold on. I want to show you guys something that I came across that I thought was pretty crazy. Right? So so we have the final experiment, what they're calling the final experiment, right? Coming here in the next year, within the year, right? But what's crazy is something that I've mentioned. I'm like, look, Project Bluebeam, we're in the middle of it. They could put whatever they want. They could block out the sun. They could mess with the sky. They do these things. They can do these things because they have done these things. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Oh, Lord. Hold on. I am on ArcGIS right now. I wanted to show you guys something. If you guys don't know what ArcGIS is, it is Google Earth for grown folks, right? Where's this search? There we go. There we go. So here's something that I find quite interesting. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Göbekli Tepe, but with my audience, I'm going to assume you guys have heard of Göbekli Tepe, right? Now, oh, what the hell? Let's see. Göbekli Tepe. I didn't know it was. Wait a minute. Hold on now. Now, Göbekli Tepe, as of recent, has made a lot of waves. I mean, over the last 20 years, they've been talking about a lot about Göbekli Tepe, and of course, it's a people call it a dead city. Well, of course, whoever lived there at the time of whatever happened, they're no longer with us. That's apparent. But Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. There it is. That's more like it. All right. So that is an underground civilization. That's the best they could come up with, right? They're saying they had tunnels, this, that, the third. What I was thinking about with Gobekli Tepe, right, is where is that? Hold on. Measure. So we have Gobekli Tepe at, I'm going to write down the coordinates, right? 37 degrees 16 north by 38 degrees 50 east, right? Now, from there to Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat, a lot of y'all might already know, is also in Turkey. And let me make sure, give you guys the proper coordinates for that. So Mount Ararat is at 3942 north. Now, these aren't the complete to the decimal coordinates, right? And an elevation, Jesus. It's got a 44 by 18 east. 18 east. Now, if you go on, you guys don't even need ArcGIS, right? I'm just using ArcGIS because that's what we have that's over here. What you can actually do, you can go on your, you can go here. You could go on your Google Earth. Use your Google Earth. Go type in Gobekli, G-O-B. I'm going to put it in our chat right here. Gobekli Tepe. Oh, geez. I misspelled it. Lord have mercy. There it is. It's all one word. Gobekli Tepe. Right? Let's go there. Take me to Gobekli Tepe, damn it. So Gobekli Tepe. And right there, you could go ahead and drop a pin where you find Gobekli Tepe. Now, what you can do is draw or take a ruler from Gobekli Tepe, right? And take it to the base of Mount Ararat. You talk about having your mind blown. Talk about having your mind blown. The base of Mount Ararat. Y'all see that? Not the summit, the base of Mount Ararat from Gobekli Tepe. Mount Ararat's right next to Armenia. So I guess you could say the northeast portion of Turkey. Mount Ararat. Oh shit, John Thor's in here. Nice. Perfect. Very nice. But that's one of the crazy things that I came across this week. Strictly because if you're looking at weird things going on, right? Bright Insight, Jimmy Corsetti's channel, and I know I'm kind of changing it up a little bit here, but I'm going to get back on track. Just hear me out. Bright Insight with Jimmy Corsetti. Jimmy Corsetti's got a phenomenal channel. If you hadn't checked out Bright Insight, he's got some great stuff. He's got some great stuff. He doesn't necessarily do the whole flat earth thing, but he does the whole paleontology, the anthropology thing, you know, everything else like that. John Thor, man, it's good to see you, man. He does all of that and he brings it all together and he comes up with, hey, it could be this, it could be that. If it wasn't for a lot of his research, people wouldn't be looking at the Eye of the Sahara as a possibility for where the original Atlantis was, right? He's bringing a lot of things to light. And so Jimmy, of course, been doing a lot of research on Gobekli Tepe. And as of recent with Joe Rogan and the Joe Rogan Experience, he's mentioned how Gobekli Tepe, they're starting to build on top of the doggone Gobekli Tepe. They're building on it. So they canceled all digging operations at Gobekli Tepe. And so I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, you know, I expect them to do that because now people are going to figure out. Now you got all this damn, you know, John Levy's, you've got boosters. I think it's Jeremiah Boosters, like all these different guys that geomancies. You've got all these different guys that are starting to zero in on not only the true Earth, but what was Earth before we knew it as a society, right? Before we were taught the Rockefellers' version of what the Earth is. What was the Earth then? And so Gobekli Tepe, I feel, is an integral part of this whole mystery. The reason I'm saying that is what were we taught? And I think you guys know. I think you guys already know where it is I'm going with this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But what were we taught? If you're a Christian, that's what I mean. Is what were we taught if you're a Christian? Hell, if you're a Jew, what were you taught? Right? In the scriptures, you were taught Noah got on a boat, spent hundreds of days on that boat, right? Seasons upon seasons on that boat. And then, he got in the boat with his family and a bunch of animals. Stuff happened, and the reasons as to God or the Most High, he decided he wanted to commit to the flood, right? But God committed to the flood. He committed to the flood. He made the flood happen. Hold on. And this is something that even mainstream science, right? Yeah. Yes, sir. That's right, John Thor. That's right. Yeah, it sure is. That's amazing news. And that's all we need to do. We don't need to have an interview with her per se, but we need to get them talking about it. But at the same time, John Thor, and I'm going to get back to my thought on actually, let me get back to my thought on that, and then I'm going to address what you said, John Thor, but not until I knock these guys out also. But in Gobekli Tepe, it kind of comes back to what happened in the Bible, right? Gobekli Tepe is under a mountain of dirt. Well, not necessarily a mountain, but it's under a lot of dirt and a lot of sediment and a lot of possibly what was once sediment and a lot of mud. 330. Why is it that it's 333 miles away from the base of Mount Ararat? Mount Ararat being the final resting place of Noah's Ark, right? Where the flood occurred. And then after God was like, hey, man, all right, the water's receded. All that stuff is done. It's gone. Out and replenish the earth. So there are a couple of things that go through my mind, right? In the beginning, when we talk about the Bible and we speak about the scriptures. Okay, so all right, before I even get into that part, I'm going to address the audience. I'm going to address you guys, okay? And your last few comments. So you do know they use an arc formula to figure the longitude and the longitudes and latitudes of the Earth, and that arc formula uses the radius. It's not. Oh my God. All right. Hey, John Thor. That's right, guys. Welcome, John Thor. Of course, everybody's welcome. I like everybody in here. Even I Am Wilson. I like him too, even. But John Thor is in here. Of course, he's got the John Thor channel. So definitely make sure to tune into his stuff. He's got some amazing content. He's been here well before I even set foot on his page. So welcome to John Thor. There are several reasons to associate the archaeological site of Göbekli Tepe to the book of Genesis records that after the ark rested at Mount Ararat. Okay, that I didn't even make that connection, but that's something definitely some food for thought. Our ancestors moved as a group towards a plain, and thank you for that, Mr. Jones. And moves towards a plain and built a city there. But I mean, I'm wondering because Göbekli Tepe now, let's see, uh, they built a city there where Mount Ararat or Göbekli Tepe. So I don't know if you're saying Göbekli Tepe because Göbekli Tepe is under mud or under dirt, and so I'm thinking that possibly Göbekli Tepe was a place before the flood. And then it wasn't until after the flood, Mount Ararat is northeast, 333 miles northeast of Göbekli Tepe. And then Göbekli Tepe is just no more, right? Now they're making the claims that Göbekli Tepe is thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years old. So then my question is this: is this just one flood? Is this many other floods? And I'm thinking it could be that the Bible is either out of time or it could be many different floods, right? And there's just pieces of the Bible that are missing. And there's major pieces that we need to make some of it make a little bit more sense. Good news that Candace Owens is talking about the flat earth. And yes, it's phenomenal news. It's phenomenal news. And John Thor, to that point right there, um, I feel this is really what we need to do, right? Is we need to get those guys, get the ball in their hands, and then we'll give them the clearance to go ahead and run with it. But as soon as they start taking it to a place it doesn't belong, they lose it. And then they'll lose credibility. And then we'll hold them accountable like we hold everybody else accountable. That's it. It's that simple. And just, I mean, great. We could like Candace Owens, we could like Tucker Carlson and all them. But the thing is if they get out of line, they're going to have to get their pee-pee smacked. They're going to have to be punished because they're not playing correctly. They're not telling the truth. If they feel they need to add lies to it, no, we need to remove that from them. And then they lose credibility. It's that simple. It's that simple. It sucks that it has to be played that way, but we can't play games with these journalists no more, man. They have way too much influence, way too much power to be going out there and lying to our kids still. Like they're done. They're done. And the more we start talking like this, the more that message will be clear with them that they just can't come and steal a narrative, turn it into what they think they're going to turn it into, and it'll be okay. No, we're going to make them suffer if they think that's what they're going to do. And I don't care what anybody says. It's not a game no more. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how many times I have to stress it, but this is not a game. So I am Wilson. You could get mad. You could say the Bible is this, we're stupid, we're silly. Fine. Go on somewhere else. Go find your globe people and talk about Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica and stuff over there. You know what I'm saying? We're over here trying to figure out what the truth is. And based off of what we see and what we get, that's what we're working with. All right. So if you want to go and screw off elsewhere. Okay. So yeah. So I think a lot of it rests in our lap at the end of the day, and we just have to be one thing I think is most important in this community, the true and flat earth community, right? We don't necessarily have to give it a final name, right? It doesn't have to have it's the flat earth. No, it's the true earth. Let's taste great feeling, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Miller Lite. You know what I'm saying? No. It's the earth. It's the true earth. It's the flat earth, whatever. We can't separate ourselves. We have to be together in this whole thing. This whole thing with, the final experiment, Jaron Campanella versus the world, it seems like. And a lot of guys don't trust it. And there are a lot of guys, even, I guess you could say, I don't even want to make it seem like it's the Jets versus the Sharks. But it seems like a lot of guys in Jaren's camp don't trust it either, right? Jaren is upset by this. But then you have people fighting back with him saying, hey, it's because you're a shill and they don't trust him. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if he is or if he isn't. I would pray that he isn't. But these days and times, all I'm saying is you don't know. It is fishy. And even during one of Jaren's live streams, I was like, and this was months ago. I was like, yo, you doing this final experiment? He was like, oh, you guys are pussies, you guys. Oh, excuse my language. You guys are wussies. Wussies with a W. You guys are wussies. You guys are wussies. I said it with a W. He kept saying this, he kept repeating that. And I was like, you got to understand, man, people are tired of getting screwed over. And I said, you know, there is something that the American government can do. They can do what they can manipulate graphics in the sky if they want to. China's demonstrated that, right? China's done this many times. And the thing is that we've got these, and I even mentioned in his chat, I was like, they have sun simulators. China has been running tests on these solar simulators. This isn't a secret. And I didn't know how about they would get it in the sky. I'm not claiming to know that. But when I first saw the solar simulator back in 2010, my thing was, what the hell they're doing this for? Like, I was like, they're going to mess with all the dang nocturnal creatures and to some degree, all the diurnal creatures, right? When it's nighttime, you're going to make it day. Like, that's screwed up. Have you ever seen what happens with a rooster when you put a flashlights in his face when it thinks it's sleeping, right? That's crazy enough. So, excuse me. Keep myself from sneezing. But that right there is crazy enough. So this is what was my biggest concern. So then now we flip it totally on its head, and we're here in 2024, 15 years later almost, and Jaren has an opportunity to go to Antarctica. Of course, at first, Jaren thought it was a little bit fishy, but now he's like on board to go. And people are suspicious of it all because much of what I've said now, guys, like this is Feed Your Mind 2, Feed Your Mind 2 TV, and the final experiment. You know, Feed Your Mind 2 TV, he's got his spin on it, but we kind of see eye to eye with how you may not even have to necessarily go all the way down to Antarctica in order to see the 24-hour sun that we know you shouldn't see. And we already understand the principle that you're going to get some daylight, right? Based off of where you're at, you're going to get some daylight. Now, what I was looking at, and actually that production, that last production from Flat Earth Banjo, there was a guy, his name is like Ace of Spades or something like that. He's got some good stuff and he's really bright dude, but he's like, he's a little bit wild and crazy, but he said something good. So the way the shadow is going to appear around the earth, right, is that it's going to splay out at that time to where, if you're depending on what parallel you're at around that ice ring, you should have some semblance of daylight, right? Or twilight, daylight, twilight, or dusk. It should be bright, the sky, or somewhat bright. But just because the sky is bright doesn't mean that it's sun, right? You could have sunlight and not have the sun sitting there, right? We get it every morning. We get it every night, right? We have the colored sky where everything is starting to brighten up, but we don't have the actual physical sun in our view. And so many of these locales, i.e. New Zealand, excuse me, New Zealand, what's the other one? Patagonia, places like that are further beyond 30 South, right? Well beyond 30 South. You could still be in the shroud of darkness during the winter months, right? You'll still be in the shroud of darkness when it's dark time. So you won't be seeing you definitely won't be seeing a 24-hour sun. And so originally when I was asking, hey, why don't you go to these places? Why don't you go to that place? That's probably the reason why. And I basically answered my own answer, right? But what's his name beat me to the punch, and he's displayed it first. So you're going to get to see the daylight in those regions, in those southernmost regions, that looks like it's like 75 parallel, right? Not even even at 68 parallel, it's still just going to be black. It's mostly going to be black that you're going to be seeing. So you have to go further south in order to see, potentially see the sunlight, right? But with how we feel and we know the earth moves, or the sun moves, excuse me, we know that they're not going to get any sunlight for 24 hours. So this is where the fake solar sun reflector comes in. So there have been a lot of people saying the solar sun. I'd been saying it for people have taken it a step further. People have taken it a step further, and now they're saying the James Webb Space Telescope is possibly the fake sun, is one of those fake solar suns. And if you look at the false sun and what it looks like, it's like, oh, snap. But here's the thing. The James Webb Space Telescope has it's got that honeycomb hexagonal, right? That's one. Two, it's got that black node thing. What's that? The feed horn. It looks like a feed horn. It looks exactly like a feed horn. You know what I'm saying? I even went it's funny. It's funny. So the parabolic dish and the antenna was made in the 1800s. It makes you wonder the type of education and how smart these people were. What were they replicating? What were these people replicating when they were making the parabolic dish? If you don't know what a parabolic dish is, I made a video on that months and months ago, right? I forget which number that was. But a parabolic dish shaped like a bowl. In the middle of it, you have a feed horn come out, or an antenna, parabolic dish antenna, excuse me. You have a feed horn come out, and then and then with that, you it shoots the energy back into the dish and then back projected out into space. Um, that's what the James Webb Space Telescope looks like. It looks exactly like that. And what's crazy, this is exactly what that fake sun looks like, right? That artificial sun looks the same way. And it has that empty hole in the middle where the feed horn would appear, right? And it's got the same features. Now, people were questioning this. How does it stay up? How does it stay up? I know that was one of my big questions. How does it stay up? I was like, is it using normal UAV technology? Is it using is it using propellers, helium, and a balloon? What's keeping it in place and maintaining its position wherever it is until it needs to move periodically throughout the day? It made me think, guys, of this. Has anybody heard? When you look at this, I'm going to show this to you, and I want you guys to tell me what I'm thinking. Okay? I don't want to steal your thunder. I don't want to make you feel as if I'm not paying you guys any mind. I will love to get back to the chat. Jehovah's, but before I continue, because this is going to be the dun 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 moment of suspense, I want to say hi and what's up to the people that came in and that I haven't addressed yet. So, Alan Nordstrom, yes, sir. Alistair Desmond Denvin, how you doing, sir? All right, it's good to see you. All right, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. It's good to see you, and it's good to have you here. Jehovah's daughter Barbara, it's good to see you, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for showing up again. Yep. Alice Denvin. And guys, as you come in, please don't forget to like, share, and sub. Please don't forget. Charlie Welch, what's going on, homie? It's good to see you, sir. Very, very nice to have you in the house. All right. And yeah. Oh, yeah. Alice to Desmond Denvin. Yeah. Only 5 watching, not even 6. Only 5. Yeah. So it is what it is, man. Yeah, whatever. I don't base my performance as to how many's watching. I mean, as long as I'm getting good, clean, fair information out to you, maybe something new to inspire you to think some different way, then I think 522. Then I think I've done my part. So whether I'm preaching a 5 or 500, it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, only 5, 6 people. Yeah, not many. Jeremiah 5:22. I'm gonna check that out. Talks about the Antarctica. But so I'm gonna show you the James Webb Space Telescope, right? I'm gonna show you guys that, and I want you guys to take a look for yourself. And I looked up diagram of the James Webb Space Telescope because it's a space telescope, right? Supposedly, it's over there. Okay, you take a look. You see all these, and it looks like it's shaped like a kite, right? What does this remind you of? Look at how it's shaped. What does this remind you of? You just look at it. What does it remind you of? And now, mind you, I'm sitting here. I'm not saying this is the facts, okay? I'm sitting here asking, what is if this is potentially, not supposedly, but potentially one of those artificial suns. Not saying that it is, but if it's potentially one of those artificial suns, what's keeping it hovering? What's keeping it in place like that? And so now I'm looking up its construction and how this thing is built, right? Look at this. Look at this. That's it, right? That's the James Webb Space Telescope, right? And what does it remind you of? I want to see the answers in here. What does this remind you of? James Webb lies, yeah. Let's see. A boundary in the sea. Okay. Ice wall. Okay. Yeah. It looks like a kite. Okay. All right. So I don't leave you guys in suspense. I'm going to show you guys something. You guys remember this? Project Aurora? Ring a bell? And if you don't know, let me remind you. Patterns. There it is. There it is. So what's to say and who's to say that this isn't something that they're going to use in order to keep this joker afloat? The TR3B. The same technology that they keep this thing aloft, that they keep it zooming from place to place, right? Who's to say that they're not using this type of technology? Does it mean that it has to be shaped like a triangle? It could be shaped like a rhombus, right? Because that's what that kite is giving us. That kite is giving us diamond shapes. But does it need angles? That's the most important part. Potentially, it needs those angles. Yes, electromagnetic levitation. So now they're using the technology to pull some stunt off, right? They're doing what they want to do with this technology right here. With this right here. And so it's not a UFO flying around. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what they're doing with this thing. I have no idea what they're doing with this thing. Right? I have no idea. But who's to say that they're not using this right here to make that thing hover and fly and whatever else. It doesn't even have to be that James Webb Space Telescope. A lot of that other stuff that's up there, right? They're probably using this right here. But specifically for the topic at hand, the James Webb, yes, specifically the James Webb Space Telescope. This exactly. This exactly. Yet they still fail miserably to stop the veil from being lifted. Yeah. 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 It's funky. It's funky and it's crazy. And it's just getting crazier. It's just getting crazier, man. I mean, like the lies, the lies, like they're just being exposed. The more truth comes out, the more questions we got. The more truth comes out, or the more possibilities there are, the more questions we have, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that any of this is true, but they're possibilities, very good possibilities, very strong possibilities, right? So hold on. Here we go. So I'm going to show you Feed Your Mind's latest, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you from Feed Your Mind's latest production today. What he had. So I'm going to stop this screen. And before I do, I want to address you guys in here. I apologize. I should be doing this a little bit more often. I want to address you guys. When he gave the sea its boundary, so the waters could not overstep his command. Yeah, this is right. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Oh wait, that's Proverbs 8:29. Okay, I'm going to look into that too. Proverbs 8:29. Prov 8:29. Okay, I'm going to look into that one as well. All right. When you were in the car live, the transmission in the car live. The transmission in the car. That was a while back when I was in the car live. They're just light arrays that produce a parallel light arrays produced in a warehouse. Okay. All right. Okay. I don't know what these people are getting in order to get the reflection that they're getting, but it's a compelling argument to say that there's something other than what we're used to up in the sky, right? Giving us some of the sunlight. But what are they using? What are they using this false sun for is my question. If it's not giving us the same thing that actual sunlight is giving us, what the hell are they using it for? For light? To light up a place? Like say you're in a conflict and you don't want to be looking for bad guys all day, which these days, bad guys could be us. It's crazy, right? You don't want to be sitting there looking for bad guys all day. You just tune up this freaking fake sun up in the sky like it's a major flare, and then it'll just point its light where it needs to go, and then you'll get sunlight, immediate sunlight. It boggles my mind what they plan on doing with it. But I mean, my thinking is limited in that I'm thinking based off of what I know. That's it. What I know and what I think I know. That's where my thinking is. It's super limited. That's what I mean, right? And ours collectively, I mean, it increases, it grows, but we don't know everything. What could they possibly do with it? Lord knows. Jesus from 2024. I haven't seen him. Where's this Jesus from 2024? I haven't seen him. We know that the sun, moon, and the earth move, how to predict eclipses to date and time and region to the dot. Yes, of course. I'm sorry, my bad, guys. But yes, of course, we do know, excuse me, all those things because we understand that this earth and the stars above us function like a clock. That's how come we know. And it functions perfectly on a flat, level, even, true plane. That's how we know. I am Wilson. I'd agree if I were seeing the same sun I grew up with. This isn't a soft, warm yellow sun. That's right. That's another thing. White and extremely irritating to the skin for the first time in decades. I don't believe it's real. Okay, good point. Only 6 watching. Yeah, only 6 watching. That's right. Well, we're only 5 watching now. You need to read the patent if you think it's a sun. Okay, so I am Wilson. When I say sky, solar sky, artificial sun, that's what we could come up with. Like people call it flying saucer based off of what they see, or people call things based off of what they know and what they experienced in life. So I haven't experienced it myself personally, so I couldn't tell you, right? So I don't know. But based off of what everyone is saying, based off of what folks are saying, then this is an artificial sun, but I don't know what it does. I don't know what it gives. And James Webb can't be trusted. Exactly. Makes you think the earth moves. I knew the first time I rode a merry-go-round. Yeah, that's deep because yeah, it never made much sense to me. I just went along with it. Not gonna lie. Jeremiah 5:22, for I have placed the sand as a boundary for the sea, an eternal decree, so it cannot cross over. Though the waves toss, they cannot prevail. Though they roar, they cannot cross. You shall not pass. Like Gandalf. It's talking about Antarctica. Wow. The shores of our world. People will be led here because of truth. Yeah, amen. Amen, sister. I believe that. Truth is being told here. And that's it. That's it. The ice wall is also the foundation of the earth. The firmament attached to that keeps the earth fixed in its foundation. Yes. Yes. And Atlas, the king of the world. There was an Atlas that at one time was the king of Mauritania or that region, right in northern Africa, and he has a mountain range named after him. It's called the Atlas Mountains. That's where we get the Atlantic Ocean, right, based off of the name of that region and that mountain chain and that king as well. That's where we get the Atlantic Oceans or the Atlanteans from King Atlas. Simulation. Sunulate. It looks like a kite. Yes. TR3B. I went into that one. Yep. Electromagnetic levitation. And it's strange. It's new tech and it's successful, I guess. But to me, it's still strange. Not going to lie to you because I don't understand it really that well. I don't understand it. I'm not going to say, oh, that's easy. Magnetics. Da, da, da. No, I don't fully understand it. I'm not going to lie and say I do. Like I don't. You know what I'm saying? Government operations and projects, yet they failed miserably to stop the veil from being lifted. Oh, I read that one already. My bad. Tesla patents include a flying spacecraft that use mag lift technology. Could be a drone. It could, and it still very well could be a drone, right? Or a model replica note that you have seen. Let's see. My understanding is there literally nothing new under the sun since the days of Enoch and the Watchers. Exactly. Research I've been led to, and I believe, yeah, and especially with all these lies, it's like, yeah, you're breaking away. You're breaking away. Proverbs 8 is one of the few passages you can still find wisdom. Jehovah's wife, yeah. Proverbs 8. Yep. Okay, I got that. 8:29. For even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. That's right. Lucifer. The April 8th eclipse didn't occur from the right direction if you look into it. Now, if you guys don't know, just as a reminder, y'all know what's happening this Monday, right? This Monday, it's going to be like everybody gets light. Like 90% of the world gets light, or 90% of the Earth's population, right, gets sunlight. So don't forget, make sure to keep your eyes to the skies, see what the heck's going on around you, and just be observant, right, and be vigilant. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to get. Nope, it doesn't work on a flat Earth. What doesn't work on a flat Earth? Everything seems to work on a flat Earth because it is. That is the most used words for it. No, it's true. No, listen, I am Wilson. That's the truth. If you don't know something, that's what you say. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. What's the problem is has anybody played Sudoku? Who's played Sudoku? Who here has played Sudoku? Anybody in here that's played Sudoku and you have pieces of the puzzle where you know these answers are right, but then you have pieces of the puzzle you have a hard time filling in. And then you don't take any guesses, but in the bottom corner of every Sudoku puzzle, you start to just scribble in possible numbers, possibilities. And there's nothing. There's nothing that you could say about that other than their possibilities. In other words, you don't know. The problem that comes from that is this. As soon as you start making these assumptions and thinking you know what the answer is to a possible clue in the grid in a Sudoku game, that's where you run the risk of screwing up the entire puzzle altogether. You're not going to win that puzzle. Or if you do win that puzzle, it's an extremely lucky guess, but your guesses mean nothing. Guesses are nothing, right? Guesses are nothing. And so this is what a lot of theories based on this earth, that's what it is, I am Wilson. They're all theories. Is not knowing and making. That's the thing. Then come back and ask me that question. Yeah, I am Wilson. No, is no. What is, if you don't know, you don't know. That's being honest. Like, you don't know. Listen, here's what we know it's not. We know it's not a ball, and we know it's not moving. Those two things we know and we prove all the time. We know and we prove it all the time. Like, we know this. Everything else we don't even need, to be honest with you. We don't need anything else. We just those two things alone kill the globe. Just those two things alone, they just destroy the globe. So we don't need anything else. I am Wilson. This is what I think you just fail to realize, man. All that other stuff, you can throw it out the window, man. Let me go back to these comments. I apologize, guys. Why do flat earthers? I don't know. Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know. Star in a jar, perhaps. Who knows? Star in a jar. Sonoluminescence seems to work. It can be replicated here on Earth. We can't replicate a ball spinning and doing all these crazy maneuvers in a vacuum. We can't replicate any of that here on Earth. Star in a jar, we can replicate that. No, run to the Bible for cover. Nobody's running to the Bible for cover. No, it's useful. The Bible is a totally useful book. I am Wilson. Instead of my brother, you and my brother have a lot in common. You talk a lot for a person that, I don't know if you've read the Bible or not, but you sound as if, and I could be wrong, sounded as if you really haven't really looked into the Bible. If you looked into the Bible, you wouldn't be talking a lot of this mess that you're talking right now, because you'll notice there are many parallels. There are many parallels with what the Bible says and what the reality possibly is. There are many, it's even. It's even. But if you don't read it and you just make fun of people that read the Bible and you just make fun of them as being kooks, you're being disingenuous. You're being totally disingenuous. And that's the problem. And this is why the Bible says, God laughs at man's wisdom, because even the most wisest man in the world fell short of the glory of God. Solomon, even he screwed up. And then by the end of his life, he was in all kinds of, mischief and trouble and foreign women and stuff like that. Even he fell short of the grace of God. Solomon. And he was the wisest man in the world. So I am Wilson. What makes you think that any man living, and I say living with that much, we all have one thing in common. We have a timeline, and it's relatively short. And we have a certain amount of information that we could gather up. And who's to say that any of it's really the truth, right? What I know is that the vast number of people, right, that came before us here within this century may not have known what the truth is. And so that's a tough thing. That's a tough pill to swallow if you think about it. They may have thought that this place was a globe. And many of them may have thought like you, and many of them may have thought that they can rely on their fellow man. But the problem is, men are designed to fail. We're designed to sin. We're designed to fall apart and flaw. So people aren't going to tell you the truth. But the scriptures, and of course, I know what you're going to say. Well, men wrote the scriptures. Yes, men wrote the scriptures. Men also write the Science Times, Mechanics Monthly, Popular Mechanics, Omni magazines, you name it. Men also write those too. But you need to take a lot of your experience. You need to use a lot of your time, and you need to go out there and you need to do your own due diligence. You need to look for yourself. You got to. My research more lean towards toroidal shaped Earth, with its own sun being yeah, man. It's crazy. The more you look at how the vibes of cosmos, their version of how and why the sun is and why the moon is, right? It blows my mind. Atlas held up the firmament, not the globe. Yep, that's right. That's right. Yep. Also, why do you believe? Why do globe believers attack the Bible? Half warrior, that's a good question. Not sure a drone could illuminate tens of thousands of miles up in terrain. Listen, I am Wilson. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'm saying with the technology that I know we have, that I know of that we have, god dang, we don't get sirens out here in a country like that. But that must be pretty tough. Wow. You don't hear anything else out here. You don't even hear the animals. But out here in the country, like this is the first time I've heard an ambulance. Wow. Anyway, but I don't know how those things get to where they're at to do that thing. If that's drone technology, I don't know. And if it is drone technology, maybe it's not using some mechanical function in order to get from point A to point B. Get some form of light. I don't. So many are thinking something's going to happen between now and July 10th. Trump is supposed to be sentenced on the 7th. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Life is more interesting than any Stephen King, Dean Koontz novel around. Sun and moon reflections on the water show the surface isn't. Yep. Always flat. What is wrong is not knowing and making the claim the earth is flat. No, it's no, we no. We don't know that other stuff that what are galaxies then? Then what's the Milky Way? And what's string theory? Like you ask us stuff like that, like we know. You don't even know what that is. You ask us, then what's the photoelectric effect of la 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 la? Like you talk crap. You don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. We stop where we stop, like where our limit is, because we don't know. And we're honest with it, like we don't truly know. Like, yeah, we were taught that the moon is a dust ball. At one time, it was a piece of the earth that broke off and then it just decided to hover around it. Now we learned the truth that it's in fact not. That's not what the moon is. That's an absolute lie, right? That the sun and the moon are two of their own separate lights. We know that, right? They all have both their different energies. We know that. And we can prove that. We can prove that. That's the thing is, we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is, but we can prove they're both different, right? They're both not giving us the same thing. We could prove that this realm we see too far, and we get made fun of for. Listen. This is where we live, right? This is how silly the people are. Because we say that we see too far, we get made fun of. Why is that? Because we see too far. We don't see at 3 miles and then it curves like we were told. Because we have equipment, i.e., telescopes, binoculars, big eyes, all sorts of stuff, things to help with the lensing effect, things to help with clutter, things to help reduce the atmospherics out there, right? Like infrared goggles, infrared vision, right? FLIR technology. All this stuff helps us to see at distances with which we couldn't do it one time, right? And so now these things are possible. And now we're starting to see the world through a different set of lens, pun intended. Get it? Different set of lens. But all jokes aside, like now we're starting to understand, wow, we do see too far. And that's a problem. Because, like I've said before a million dozen times, if this earth is curving at 25,000 miles in a physical circumference, you have got to at some point see this physical circumference, which you don't. At some point, you have got to be able to measure it, which we can't. We can't measure it. It's not measurable. That's because it's not there. We're looking for something that doesn't exist. And so it's 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 damn liberating to know that, okay, well, wow, this whole time we thought we were doing all this and all that. So then everything else falls into place. The Big Bang may not have been what we thought. This may not have been what we thought. That may not have been what we thought. So then we come to the conclusion. So, in other words, what you're saying is we were being lied to. So we were being lied to. That's what you're saying. And it's like, yeah, you were being lied to. That's pretty much what it boils down to. And we accept that we were being lied to. We accept it. I am Wilson. I think the problem with you is that you have yet to accept that your government, even in Australia, they are all right. I'm about to break the rules. It is, oh no, it's as soon as it hits 8 o'clock, I'm breaking the rules. But they are a bunch of hose garglers. They are hose garglers. They gargle hoses. Okay. If you know what it is I'm saying, they gargle hoses, your government. And to some degree, the evil people in my government, they gargle hoses too. And they lie. They lie through their teeth. Right? Let me continue. I am Wilson. You be miraculous healed and come back and ask me that question. Right? You don't know, then saying it's flat. I know it's not, and I know it's not a ball. How about that? How about that? Let me get to the last couple. Science is Satan's way of convincing the world to deny the creator and its truth. Science doesn't know better than God. That's true. Science has been wrong many times. We have eyes to see. We can see too far. Yeah, they can't see. That's true. Unfortunately, you globers don't get it, and you can't see it all. I'm sorry. I have yet a flat earther to prove anything they can't. Ah, boy. I am Wilson. I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to have to, bro. I'm sorry. You're going to have to seriously put socks on your hands and keep from typing. If the earth was flat, Polaris would still, oh boy. Listen, we have Polaris. Polaris ain't going nowhere, homie. I am Wilson. Polaris isn't going anywhere. How can anything multiplied by itself equal itself? At very least, it should be double itself if you have any logical. Unfortunately, they don't want us thinking or using logic. Jehovah gave us, at the South Pole, bro. There's no pole at the South. There's the North Pole. There is no Southern Pole. There is no Southern Pole. If that was the case, we wouldn't be having those crazy ass magnetic issues once we start breaking a certain parallel. Once we start reaching a certain parallel, it wouldn't be that bad. Why does everything revolve around Polaris? I thought everything went around the sun. No, yeah, so did I. Shannon Emerson, good to see you. All right, it's always a pleasure, Shannon Emerson, and it's good to have you in here. Yep. The Earth rotates. It has two separate rotations at both north and, oh God. The Earth doesn't do any of those maneuvers, my man. It doesn't. I don't know what else to tell you, I am Wilson. There is no upside down people. There is no upside down boats. There is no upside down kangaroos. There is no upside down duckbill platypi. There is no upside down anything, my man. If you are upside down, you're probably a bat in a cave, right? I am Wilson. I don't know what to tell you, homie. Anyway, let's continue on. That was a lot of time spent in that chat, and I didn't even get to all of them, but I'm definitely going to read them offline. Let's get here to this is Feed Your Mind, and I have proof that blah 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 blah. If you don't and you haven't subscribed to Feed Your Mind TV stuff, and he sounds like he's a smart dude. I highly recommend you check out Feed Your Mind T2, right? let's go ahead. Let's present what Feed Your Mind got. Yeah.
This is Feed Your Mind. So I just did a report on the final experiment, and I actually made a poll. So check out my community tab. Just go to my homepage and go to my community section and find the poll. And so in the video I did last, we covered a lot of variables that might interfere with this experiment and cast some doubts upon it. But look, in this video, I'm going to cover simulator. It's very interesting that this sun simulator looks just like the James Webb telescope. So I did a report on the James Webb telescope a while back, and this was a telescope that was launched, they said, it was like a year ago, maybe two. But I did a report on that. You can find that video if you want. But the design of it looks just like this sun simulator. And so how would the sun simulator actually work? So look, basically, I guess there's some patents on this sun simulator, and RFB had did a report on it back in 2016.
Look this up for yourself. Patent number US 3247367, filed on October 31st, 1960. The sun simulator is real, and this is what they are going to use to fake the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
And also I found another video from this globe earther who had uncovered information about the sun simulator. So they're all pretty interesting videos. Even with the globe earther, I mean, even though she believes in outer space that the sun simulator is orbiting up there, you know, at least she understands that there is this technology. So I don't believe at all that the sun simulator is orbiting. So how would this thing work? In my opinion, it would probably be some type of reflection type thing. It might not even have to leave Earth, because the way this thing is designed, it could possibly be something where it projects a reflection into the atmosphere, maybe like some type of holographic projection. Could be some type of blue beam type thing going on there. Also, there's other options like balloons, like how they use with satellites. A lot of people are discovering. So as far as how they're using the sun simulator, it's not really clear. Let me know your ideas about how you think this thing might work in the comment section. But the thing is, with this James Webb telescope, it shows what we all thought was this telescope on some type of craft. It looks like some type of craft, but it's really, they're saying it's a satellite type thing. But yeah, as you just look at the picture of the James Webb telescope, it looks like it's on some type of advanced craft. So I'm not really doubting that they could have some type of advanced craft available to them, because even with Admiral Byrd, he said there was some type of way that these beings from beyond Antarctica can travel from pole to pole. So, you know, basically from Antarctica to the North Pole, they can go back and forth very fast. So there's probably some type of technology out there that we're not aware of, where they can maybe hang the sun simulator from it, and it might be able to go into the sky like that. But there's also, like I said, a reflective option where it could be some type of thing where it projects some type of holographic image of the sun into the sky, and some type of technology like that, perhaps. But who knows, really? I mean, when it comes down to it, really, the firmament is said to be kind of like a mirror anyway. So even with that idea, you might not even need a simulator, because with the firmament, you don't know really what the sun is. And there's all types of hypotheses about what the sun actually is, and if we're seeing a reflection of it or if it's the actual source itself. But either way, I mean, with the descriptions of the firmament being some type of mirror-like surface, so basically, if it is a reflective surface like a mirror, if that's what the firmament is, then it's possible that there could be some type of real natural reflection of the sun, perhaps on the opposite side. So there's all types of options with that, because like we said, with the daylight, I discussed this in my last video, I believe, where yeah, daylight wouldn't prove anything. It would have to be something to where they actually see the sun circling. And I actually would have thought that couldn't they see something like that from South America, perhaps like at the very southern part of South America? Wouldn't they be able to see the 24 hours of sun there? Like, why would you have to actually go to Antarctica? I understand that that would be a better view, but like with Alaska, it seems like you can go to Alaska. You don't have to go to the North Pole to see the 24-hour sun in the North area, right? Because from my reports, this has been documented several times with the North Pole 24-hour sun, but with the South 24-hour sun, that's isn't that suspicious that that's never been confirmed? Like there's all these doubts because it hasn't been confirmed. And now I'm hearing reports that Neil deGrasse Tyson and William Shatner are in Antarctica right around the same time as this final experiment. So that kind of says that this could be something to where they're setting up for this to be some type of, deception. Maybe they're trying to put this flat earth discussion to rest with some type of holographic sun in the sky, or just a way to report back that there is a 24-hour sun. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about the sun simulator. I find it very interesting. I mean, there's been footage of suspected sun simulator in the sky. They're saying they saw like this dark spot in the center. Some people are saying that could be the holographic proof that they're seeing this type of dark spot in the center of the sun. And they're seeing unusual sun rays emitting off of it. So they're saying it actually looks just like how the sun simulator looks. So there's like 6 sides to this sun simulator, and they're saying with the projection of this sun, they're seeing about 6 rays. So they're saying it's an unusual looking sun when people have allegedly spotted this sun simulator. So, I mean, like I said, we covered a lot in this video. I find it very interesting that it looks just like the James Webb Telescope. I think that's kind of like some type of evidence there that there's might be something to this information. But I don't know. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. I'm going to leave a link for you if you want to do more research with me on this subject about the final experiment and much more. I'm also leaving links to my other channels, my social media, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 to help keep this channel online. If we get much more members and patrons, I can put out more documentary style videos. So please support this channel so I can put out more videos like that, because the time and effort it takes to make those videos, it really doesn't justify the way this platform has been pushing my videos out. So if you guys support the channel, I can get back to making those types of videos. But thanks anyways for everything, for liking and sharing and subscribing and all that. I appreciate you all out there. So that's it. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.
All right. Feed Your Mind, man. Feed Your Mind always brings out some crazy.
We need a moment because
oh Lord. But Feed Your Mind always got something wild, man. He always has some good stuff based off of his perspective and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And look at that. Looks like Candace Owens came out with something hot today. What's that? The shocking satanic origins of you better watch out. Y'all better watch out of NASA. Uh-oh. Candace Owens is getting ever closer. That's not what they want. You don't want her to know. You don't want her to know what this. And she's getting in her Bible. And she's getting in her Bible too. That's a bad mix. If you're of the globe, that's a bad mix. If you're of a globe and you're a liar, that's a bad mix. You don't want people like figuring things. And it seems to me, and I don't want that to kind of derail what we're talking about as far as the great experiment, the final experiment, excuse me. That's a tough mix, because as soon as you start combining reality with the Bible, and then you start running these tests and you start seeing the tests that everybody else is committing to, then you can't not believe. And now this is where Candace Owens, she's had testimonies of her own issues, of her own, that she's like, dang, man, life can be crazy, and here's my testimony. Stuff can be interesting, and here's my testimony. right? And a lot of stuff that they're talking about in the Bible, she gets to see real time played out. And now she's talking about how NASA is a satanic cult on her news channel. Wow. Wow. She's close. Once she starts to unravel this true earth, everybody else is going to start to follow. Like all the other big ones, they're gonna call her crazy. I tell you, they're gonna call her every name in the book. Be ready for it. Be ready for it. And you're gonna have a lot of guys that they're gonna be so into their money that they're not gonna follow suit. But the truth does weird things to people, man. Like it does. The people that actually want the truth, like they change. They change. People that want the truth change. And it's like, you know why they change? Because they want more truth. Oh, that's all they want. After you're looking for the truth, and you're like, yeah, it hurts, but this is what's right. You just want more of it. So you're gonna do whatever you need to in your life in order to get that extra. I need that. It's almost, I'd hate to say it, it's almost like it's a drug. But you're like, I need that extra. I need that extra hit of truth. I need it. I can't go without it. And so a lot of these people that are going without the truth, they don't know what it feels like to be bathed in clean water almost. They don't know what it feels like to be on a binge of drinking alcohol. And that's all you've been drinking your whole life. And now you're being nourished with healthy, clean, life sustaining water. They don't want it. But when you've been given alcohol, you've been given drugs, or you've been given things that are not conducive to living a clean life, when you've been given that the whole time you've been around, as soon as you start introducing things like clean things like healthy fruit, vegetables, clean foods, lentils, beans, things from the earth, clean food, right? Water, water, clean water, alkaline water, life-giving water, right? Once you start introducing that in a polluted body, a couple of things can happen. Right? You can either get better, you can either start to get better, right? Rehabilitate your body into being the body that it should have been, right? It won't be perfect because it's been polluted for such a long time, but you can make it better. Or your body will perish. It will go into shock and it'll die because that clean water, the clean food is something that is totally foreign to your body, and your body will absolutely reject it. Your body will absolutely reject it. And this is where those globe people come in. They just reject the truth, man. They don't want no part of it. They don't want nothing to do with it. All they have is smoke for us. All they do is make fun of us. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And so I feel bad for them almost, because I'm like, man, wow, we're seeing all this great stuff. You guys are just missing out because you want to be stubborn and you want to be headed. And nothing I can say about that. So that was Feed Your Mind TV. Highly sub to his channel. And Half Warrior, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you, man. And all you guys coming in to check us out today here on True Earth Tuesday. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Pass this off to your friends. Maybe there's something that I said that struck a nerve that you feel would resonate with your people down there, downrange, right? Bring them in here. Bring them in and we'll learn them. We'll introduce them to the light, man. We'll show them the truth. And then, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Flat Earth is a cult. No, it ain't, man. No, it ain't. I'll tell you what, Flat Earthers want to be around Flat Earthers, right? Flat Earthers want to be around Flat Earthers because one thing about Flat True Earthers, we understand that darn near everything else is BS. It is what it is, but it's BS, right? We just know that the Earth is this. Everything as far as, aliens coming and abducting and doing this and doing that. Now, there may be some things that are just totally out of this world, pun intended, another one, out of this world that maybe we don't have the full grasp on, and there may be some truth to it. But one thing we know, they ain't coming from where we think they're coming from or where we thought they were coming from. all that has happened to have been a lie. That was a lie, right? And so we're coming to terms with that. Some of us have just totally accepted it and we've moved on, right? We've moved on to where the truth sits. And we're just trying to figure out this crazy enigma of a world that we're living on. I mentioned a couple of channels, right? I mentioned Geomancy. I mentioned John Levy, who actually has a book on Amazon that I just saw recently, and apparently it's doing really well. John Levy, and you have Boosters, Jared Boosters. That's his name, Jared Boosters. These three guys, amazing content, amazing channels. If you're into the old world, the old Earth, right? The true old Earth, these three guys, they kill it. Jared Boosters, John Lee, Geomancy, and Geomansee. Geomancy. Those guys bring it, boy. They do phenomenal work when it comes to describing this world we live on, what it once possibly was. What I've been thinking is maybe the floods are something, right? And not just the floods, but I'm combining the floods with the what's going to supposedly going to happen in the apocalypse, right? The sun is going to be covered in blood, and the moon is going to be as black as sackcloth. Or is that vice versa? Is it the sun is black as sackcloth and the moon covered in blood? I think it's the sun covered in blood. I don't know. But now that we see, I'm saying the reason I'm thinking about that is this, right? Now that we're starting to see things like this sun reflector, whatever the hell it is, right? The James Webb Space Telescope and all these sun simulators, who's to say that they don't have something that kind of reverses things, that just blocks the sun out altogether? Who's to say they don't have something like that? Not saying that they can. I'm not saying that they can. Not saying that, but who's to say that they don't have this kind of technology already? They could just throw a shroud up or something, cover it up, and then you're going to go without sunlight for however long, right? It's going to be pitch black. Or you're going to go without moonlight. Or they can change the color of the moon. Who's to say that they don't already have this technology and they've already known how to use this technology? And so every time some sort of, all right, we're going to have to freaking rake the coals a little bit and like turn the soil again, which is what we go through, right? Every so often, right? Every so whatever period. That's the belief to some degree, right? Who's to say Genesis isn't talking about that? Who's to say that when the Most High, when he came and he hovered his face over the waters in the beginning, he wasn't doing that over a previous flood? Because this is something that happens all the time, right? Who's to say that he didn't do that? Right? So I'm like, dang, this world is crazy. It's mad trippy because like these are possibilities. These are possibilities that at one time they weren't possible because we came from a giant explosion and a bowl of spooge and all this other stuff. We came from a mouse that came from a rat that came from a bat that came from a cat that worried the cat that killed the rat that ate the malt that laid in the house that Jack built. Nonsense like that. All of that. We believed all of that. But now we've come to our senses to some degree, and it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a simulator, hey, who knows? Maybe they can turn it off. Don't know. Who knows? Hey, John Thor, brother, you be easy, man. Be easy. The new Candace, yeah, that's definitely yeah, that's definitely one I want to watch. And you have a good night, John Thor. You have a good one, brother. Yeah. Yeah, man. So definitely that's something I'm going to harp on. Is the Candace Owens NASA craziness, right? But that's something John Thor and them, those guys, you know, they know how to make these videos phenomenal, right? I just come out and I kind of show in my oddball kind of way, like, guys, look, blah, 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 blah. My English is all busted. So he's gonna probably make something phenomenal. So, guys, if you hadn't subscribed to John Thor, make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's got some amazing stuff, and he's probably gonna make a video after he finishes picking apart the Candace one, and then he's gonna have something here in the next day or two. Sorry, John Thor, for putting you on the spot like that, but I'm sure you're good for it. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. What's this one? Lakota drummers, Medicine Meb. Jehovah flooded the earth. He brought the peace pipe. Wouldn't surprise me for given what I've learned. Yeah. Jehovah flooded the earth. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just strange. It's just strange, and it just gets so much more stranger that maybe the first couple of times, like, he flooded the place, he just flooded it, right? And he, during his reset, it was him purging the firmament, because maybe the firmament was just full of water because it had been flooded, right? For whatever, you know, misconducts that we were doing. And then he was like, all right, it's been flooded long enough. Everybody, I'm pretty sure, is dead. And when he kills everybody, probably it's because we're like parasites, or any living organism in that dome, within that dome. Maybe it's like a parasite to him. And he's like, I need to make sure that everything is dead before I start over. And so dead doesn't include make sure it's properly buried. No, the sediment would probably take care of that. Right. And if not, people will just knock a lot of those buildings down and everything else. Right. And so when he replenished the earth, which Ghost of Judah Tribe brought up a good point to me on that. Right. When the Most High replenished the earth, he replenished it. He didn't plenish it. Right. So then that's something definitely to take away from this whole thing, is that these resets are normal, or these resets are something that's common. Now, just because it's normal or it's common, does that mean that we should just go down without swinging? Hell no. Hell no. And just accept our fate for what it is? No. You want to learn what this place is for the time that you got here. Because sure, God could go ahead and drop another flood on us, or he could do whatever he wants to get rid of us. But we may not see that day. I'm not saying we won't see that day. I'm just saying we may not see that day. So in the meantime, in between time, let's figure out what it is that we're living on. And I think we're doing a phenomenal job. Don't think I'm getting on you guys' case and not doing the research. I think that you guys are doing a great job. So let's see what we got here. There were giants in those days, and the times after. The Bible refers to the flood. Yeah. Yep. I hope he says that people great during the flood. Yeah. Wait. Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Shannon Emerson, blast from the past. Where you been, girl? Look into vapor canopy theory. It makes a lot of sense. It would make sense if it was before the Great Flood or Noah's flood, where the atmosphere, was pumping out more O2, so everything grew giant. So Shannon Emerson, I agree. And I feel that if there was a vapor barrier, right? And if there was something that was helping that to happen, it was the giant tree. It was Yggdrasil, right? The giant tree in the middle of the world, where the Rupus Negra is. And so what I think the Rupus Negra could potentially be is it could be the stump. It could be a tree stump of what Yggdrasil was. Because what do we have all over the world already? We have petrified forests. These are real things. Forests that were once wood that are now mineralized and stone. So who's to say that the Yggdrasil wasn't once made out of wood? Somebody chopped that joker down, like when God was kind of like what you were alluding to, Shannon Emerson, right? With the whole vapor barrier theory. God was like, yo, I'm gonna flood this joker, right? Or whatever he was doing, right? And then the angels came, chopped them jokers down, and they basically found a way to cauterize them and make them non-usable. Make sure that we can no longer use them by petrifying them, by basically shining Medusa's light all over it, and then rendering them useless to some degree. Now, I know I'm going far. I know I'm going far, but look at all these plateaus that are out there, right? And next to many of these plateaus, we have many geysers, right? And we're starting to find out strange stuff about this realm that we live on. And not everything is as it seems, right? And that potentially some, not all, some of these plateaus, some of these mountains may have been something else, and that they are now petrified. They may have been gigantic trees, gigantic to a degree that we couldn't even fathom, right? Excuse me. And so it kind of goes back to what you're talking about, Shannon, in this regard right here. It would take things like Yggdrasil, and I've even me, I've had terrariums where I would germinate like seeds, whether it's lychee, lemon, you know, um, you know, whatever, right? Lychee and lemon were the ones I'm talking about because those were my last two stuff I germinated. Anyway, so whether it's lychee or lemon, you germinate it, you put it in a bag, you seal the bag like a Ziploc bag. After you seal it or put it in a glass bottle, you have the fixings in there. You have dirt, you have some kind of microbes and stuff just to give the environment what it needs to survive. As the seed sprouts and germinates, and once it starts to take root, it starts growing its own flora, right? It starts to grow. If it's healthy enough, if the environment is conducive enough, it doesn't need anything else because the environment provides for it, right? And so the tree or whatever it is you're growing in there will grow inside that bag. And then it's going to produce its own moisture, its own water, and have its own environment in there. Like you could see them in terrariums. Like people have these terrariums with like one tree in there, and then the leaves are touching everything. You know what I'm saying? The leaves are just overgrown and just like hugging the wall. And but you can see that there's a lot of moisture on the inside. So the tree, it's alive in there. The tree is sustaining the environment, right? It got the fixings in there. Possibly the same way the world was working at one time, with one giant tree in the middle. So could it be that the Bible is out of place? Well, what I mean by out of place is out of time, because we have as many stories as we're going to get in the Bible, right? Plus we have the apocryphal books. But then of course we have the books that are in the Vatican that they refuse to release to us. But with the Bible books that we have, it looks like things are not in time, right? But if they are in time, maybe you have extra books in the Vatican that would help fill those blanks, that would help us to better understand where it is or what it is we're looking at, right? What it is we're reading to make it all make sense. Right now, I think we're doing a pretty damn good job trying to figure out where we live and what it is we're doing, because at least we figured out we're not moving and we're not when we see too far. I think that's a pretty big feat myself personally, right? And I really appreciate you guys just coming in and making it work, making it happen today on Truer Tuesday on a Wednesday, right? And just enjoying it with me. It's always a pleasure with you guys. Every week is I would love to maintain time with you, but it is that time. I have got to get off. We are 3 hours, 5 minutes in, and it's great. It's phenomenal doing this with y'all, man. It's always a pleasure doing this with you guys. See what you guys had to say over here. Try and treat it's been proven that the increase in so it's not just the increase in oxygen, but also the partial pressure of the O2 delivery. Now, with this theory that we have of the mist barrier and all that, I don't know what the composition of the atmosphere was. And what I mean by that is the composition of our current atmosphere that we're breathing, other than the stuff that they put in the chemtrails, is is mostly nitrogen, like 78, 79% nitrogen, and 21% O2, 21% oxygen, to 20% oxygen. Then you have trace elements in the middle. So I don't know what the concentration of O2 was compared to oxygen at that time, because maybe the partial pressure, or rather the concentration of O2, was a little bit different. Because if you increase to two, I could tell you at sea level, even, right, if you increase to too much oxygen at sea level, you run the risk of getting oxygen, like oxygen toxicity. Oxygen can be toxic too, and it's serious. It's some serious stuff, man. It can make you break out into all kinds of neurological dysfunctions. And so, if the people were different, or if the organisms were different back then, they could accept taking. I could see them, if they were different, accepting different rates and ranges of oxygen concentration, if that makes any sense, right? If that's what it was back then with the barrier theory. But I tend to like that one. It's something that's new on me, but I could see, with all these things that lived back then, how could they live and live well, and how could they prosper, right? How could they be as smart as they were, as fast and as strong as they were? And that lends to a lot of it, right? The composition of the earth at one time. And I think that's another thing we need to look into. Alongside that, with that is the whole, not only the composition but of the earth, but like I said, the atmosphere, right? What was the atmosphere like? That becomes part of this discussion wholly. Wholly, definitely. Because now we could start talking about the people that came before us, and we could start filling in the blanks truthfully when we talk about our ancestors, and not say that they were stupid, or they were dumb, or they were old fashioned. Because we get that from people these days, that our ancestors were dumb, they were of the Stone Age, this and that. Now that we're starting to learn that this Stone Age is a lie, or some form of it, it's rooted in lies and deception, right? And so yeah, all of these are great possibilities, and all of these are wonderful things to start to begin to learn and to kind of investigate, you know what I'm saying? So the book of Jasher says, Christ said the earth is a corpse, which is obvious if you've been blessed with oh, wow. I have my apocryphal book. I need to read that book of Jasher. Then after Noah's flood, atmosphere change, more of what is now killed off giant life forms because there wasn't enough O2. Super interesting. Yeah, it is totally interesting concept. The earth basically was like a terrarium before the flood. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. For all you guys that plant, you guys or understand things about, plants and stuff, like, you guys get it. And I think Shannon, she is a farmer, right? She farms on the side. So I don't know if it's your daily bread right there, Shannon. So I'm not trying to disrespect you or nothing. But I know that's part of you. That's part of a great part of your life. But shout out to all the farmers out there, man. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. And you guys have a wealth of knowledge. My thing is, you need to start passing it on. You need to start passing that good knowledge on, because we need it. Firmament is still there. Even HRC, and they couldn't read. Yeah. Put a lot of cracks in it. Oh, that ain't what we want. It's interesting how similar the tree of life, placenta, firmament closely resemble. Yeah, they all look crazy. They all look crazy. The Kabbalic tree of, well, not the Kabbalic, excuse me, but Yggdrasil, the tree of life, how it comes up and sprouts, spreads out like broccoli. The top is the same as the roots, or the structure is the same, right? They're like equidistant from each other. Um, and how they just represent as above, so below, so well. And then you see everything else that replicates that: the human lungs with the bronchioles, the bronchi, and the alveoli, right? The human circulatory system, how that looks like, how the tree of life functions, how sparks, not sparks, but rather arcs, the arc of electricity, it getting in contact with your skin, possibly, and then how it disperses itself, and the imprint that it leaves on your body. It's like the mark of God, right? And then that ties in with how the lungs look and how the lungs function, but also God breathing the breath of life into Adam, and how he did it. He did it through his nose. And basically he basically put the life of electricity in Adam. And it's just funny. I think it's funny, the relationship, the correlation between wind, right? And the electricity. Just the function, just how those two work. Like, I don't even understand it fully, but I know that there's a connect. I know that there's a connection. Like, I wish I was more sciencey. I wish there was, like, one day I will understand more. I feel this, right? I feel that I'll understand more. But the connection between wind and electricity, and not the mechanical function of wind producing electricity. No, I'm just saying electricity within the wind. You know what I'm saying? Some people might say it's friction, some people might say it's this, some people might say it's that. I just think it's crazy how those two are somehow related, right? And then you, like Shannon said, like you guys said, and Jehovah's daughter, just like you said, how they resemble things in nature, everything else that we see, right? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. They've altered the Bible to the extent they could. Yeah, that's why the word is written in the heart of Jehovah's children. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yup. Let's see. I'm not rolling out of. I ain't dead yet, y'all. I have an awesome night. Restful sleep, sweet dreams. Thanks for sharing your evening. Oh man. Hey, Jehovah's daughter, you have a good one. You have a good night. And thanks for coming out. Hey, you have a good night, Shannon Emerson. And thanks for being here. Much appreciated. Ida Hill still in the house. Ida probably had a million other things to do. She just left this thing on, probably loud in the background. I get it. I don't blame you, man, because people be busy these days while I sit here popping my gums and just rattling off my dang bill like a sick duck. PJ Shank is a fair. Huh. Okay. See, new channel, y'all may enjoy. He's in PJ Shank. Let me check that out. Y'all tune in to PJ Shank, y'all. PJ Cruick. Cruikshank. CKSHANK. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna scope him out. Oxygen. Oxy containing oxygen. Oxygenesis. Genesis, generation, generator, oxygen, beginning, right? Air, beginning with air, maybe. I don't know. Bible is the most scrutinized book in history. It's stood the test of time because of its truth. Yeah, and people are trying to ruin it now. Greg B, what's up, family? Man, it's good to see you, man. Greg B coming in the house. That's what's up. Hey, man. Greg B, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And everybody that comes here and shows me love, I appreciate you guys, man. And I'm dead serious. You know, you guys are great. You guys tune in and you guys listen. Like I really appreciate it. And even no matter what it is you guys say, I listen as well, and I do my best to listen and give you guys your piece so we can kind of discuss what it is you're thinking as far as what the topic at hand is. You know what I'm saying? I like the content that you guys bring as well, and this helps stimulate further discussion. Right? It's not just solely resting on my shoulders, and I appreciate y'all for that too, man. But totally sure, I appreciate y'all for coming out every week, man, and just sharing this time with me. You know, it's always a good and amazing ride, and I just want to continue to share the truth. If I come across something crazy, if I have my come to Jesus moment, which I just recently did with Gobekli Tepe, if you didn't see it, you got to see it in the early part of this production, y'all. Gobekli Tepe, what I figured out. And the James Webb Space Telescope. Like those were my little come to Jesus moments, which maybe it may have been somebody else's come to Jesus moment a little bit ago, right? But this was mine. This is what clicked for me. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is even more proof that this place ain't what we thought it was. You know what I'm saying? Just more proof that this place ain't what we thought it was. And I guess you could say it's a little bit, it's concerning, but it's an exciting time. It's a good time and it's an exciting time. And this is definitely something I look forward to experiencing with you guys here in the future to come. For sure, for sure. And I appreciate that, man. Mr. Jones, Noah's Ark of the Covenant, the arcing bow or the arching bow in the sky to honor his promise. Yes. And also think about this, Mr. Jones. The rainbow not only is a promise, but it's also a physical promise and a visual representation, because there's the firmament. If the rainbow is a reflection of the firmament, it's because he's showing his firmament as a promise. I'm not going to flood this place no more, because now I sealed the windows. There goes your firmament. And if you look at your rainbow, it doesn't have no holes. However, there are particular lifestyles that have seized the rainbow and they have removed a color from the rainbow. The guys, I've been looking at the LG, the alphabet flag, and I've also been looking at the standard rainbow. So it's indigo. So you have Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo. Roy G. Excuse me, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Right, 7 colors, 7 visible colors. You got one missing for the alphabet flag, one, and that is indigo. Indigo, right? So if you look at why indigo is important, maybe that might be your clue as to why they wanted to remove that color from their flag, to give themselves their version of the rainbow. Why indigo? Why does indigo need to go? Oh yeah, because a standard rainbow has 7 colors. So they bastardized it with theirs, right? So something to think about. Something to think about. Welcome. Okay, number of early period culture, especially the 7th to 6th centuries BC in Greece. Okay, Temple of Corinth. Greg B. Your show is coming on later. Nah, it's me, man. I kind of dropped that one. I was supposed to do it yesterday, and then I kicked it down the road to 2 a.m. yesterday, and yeah, I had to do it today. Then it was going to be at 2:30 this afternoon. Then I had to make it 4:30. Yeah. Love you back, brother, man. Thank you, man. And I appreciate that, man. Like, I really appreciate y'all coming out, man. Y'all think I'm BSing, man. I'm dead serious. What I'm saying? PJ Cruikshank. It's spelled PJ Cruikshank. Yeah. That's what I have. Keep it up. Just thought you were coming on later. I was wanting to watch later. Sorry for jumping on later. Nah, you good, homie. You are good, man. No problem. No problem. Swim Drive shows the truth. Yeah, he does. With the dome. He sure does. He sure does. The waters. Sorry. No. You good, man. Typing with one hand. Uh-oh. Thunder echoes because of the firmament also. That's another thing that's crazy. Is why does thunder travel the way it does and echo the way it does? Man, This world just keeps getting crazier and crazier as we live. Just keep on living and you'll see. You get to see for yourself. The bow is a reflection off the dome showing its shape. Yep. The devil tries to perfect and confound the truth. He sure does. And it's unfortunate. The devil lives in a lot of people. The devil and his ways are in a lot of people, and that's what he wants to win. Babylon, Babylon. Yep. Yeah, I appreciate you, Greg B. Thank you, man. We're all able to enjoy a stream. Yeah. Thank you, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you. God of a rainbow, and the rainbow was a circle in the sky. Yes. Yeah, from the sky, a rainbow actually looks like a donut. Yep. Looks like a donut. Which I think in itself is wild. Or you'll not a actual rainbow, but you'll see small little like rainbows in the sky. It's weird. It's weird. It looks like a little donut, little rainbow donut. Crazy. Truth shall set you free, brother. It's good to see you, man. All right. Truth shall set you free. Welcome, my man. Welcome. Yeah. 6 colors instead of 7 is more satanic. Yeah, it's strange. That's for sure. In that thing. Yeah, man. Truth shall set you free, man. Long time, brother. Long time. And it's good to see you, man. Satan doesn't want you to believe in him. He just wants you to not believe in God. That's right. And then as soon as you don't, like, here's the thing. It's not that you just don't believe in God. Like, everything else happens as a consequence of not believing in God. You may not think it's a consequence, but other things start not happening. And if you don't believe, if that's not what you believe, I'm not in any way trying to force you to believe, right? But there are things that tend to follow as soon as you remove that belief from within your soul. If you want to take that risk, hey man, it's all on you. I don't. It's not for everybody, right? Okay. Hey, it is what it is. I explained my piece. You don't have to agree with it. It is what it is. It is what it is. The light bearer, a broken chain symboling being loose for 1,000 years. Especially, yeah, they gave the Statue of Liberty free reign in New York. Dang, New York. Dang. And then French had to give us that dang gift too. Doggone it. But family, I really appreciate y'all. I am going to have to call it a big old Q for the night. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that came on through. And while you're in here, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, right? You guys have been amazing today. It has been a few hours. Go on to your families. I did my best to not cuss, right? I did my best. And I think I held true to that for the most part, right? Didn't sit there, didn't cuss, didn't act up or anything like that. I did get upset a little bit. Hold on. Excuse me. Yeah, I did get upset a little bit, but that was for a good reason, right? It was just more passion than being upset. And yeah, man. Yeah, like it's amazing. It's always amazing with y'all, man. I have so much fun anytime I do these with y'all. It never gets boring. It never gets boring. It's always amazing, and I'm glad that you guys are here, and I'm glad that we learn together, and we're figuring this out. You know what I'm saying? We're piecing this together. And here's the thing: whether you believe, whether you live a certain way, whether you're of a certain, way of thinking, color, whatever. Here's the thing: this is the glue that keeps us like this. Is that we're looking for the truth. I don't care who you are, what you look like. I don't care. You're looking for the truth. That works for me. We're working together, and that's how we need to be, right? On God's green, flat, true earth. That's how we need to be. And that's the only way we're going to bring this evil system down is by working together. We can't do it with the division. We need a lot less division. Okay. Let those that want to build their own Tower of Babel, let them do what they do. But we're better when we work together. Either way, family, That's all I got. I'm going to hold true to my promise, and I'm going to make those. I'm going to leave those videos in the description box. In the meantime, do not forget to check out the Candace Owens joint, and I'll put that. I'll also put that in there. Don't forget to check on Candace Owens's latest show. Don't check that out. That looks interesting. She's talking bad about NASA and how they're the satanic cabal. Woo! This is going to be interesting, boy, and it's going to be nice and long. So if you have to go to the bathroom and you have to drop a deuce or something like that, bring that in with you so you could listen to it. Jonas Opera. Jonas Operator. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, homie. If the earth is flat, what are we suspended in space? They say it's water. They say that we have water around us all the way. And when I say they, I'm talking about the scriptures. But that's what we're told, is that this is in the scriptures. Whether you believe in the scriptures or not, okay, that's fine. You don't have to. I don't know. I don't know what's holding this. I don't know what's holding this earth up. If I knew, I wouldn't be sitting here, and I would have, I wouldn't have, I don't know. I'd be better off. I promise you. I'd be better off. And I'd try to see to it that you guys would be better off too. Right? If I knew that answer. But I don't think many of us do. There may be people that know. There may be people or beings out there that know what this place truly is. I just don't happen to be one of them. That's the problem, right? And that's okay. That's okay, because the more we start to learn about this true earth, the better off we are, and the more wholesome we become. I firmly believe that. Anyway, YouTube family, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Please, again, check out that Candace Owens joint. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Health, wealth, love, joy, prosperity, most of all, wisdom. Be sure to tune in on Flat Earth Friday with the Ghost of Judah Tribe this Friday. Okay, I might be there. I'll do my best. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. And with that, I love you. I'm out. Jonas Operator, much appreciated to you, my man. Love you. I'm out. Peace.